Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Evenfall Post-Campaign question and answer session.
Oh my goodness, that was an incredible introduction.
Thank you so much. I am your master of ceremonies for the evening, Jack. I'm here
Applaud for Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. And I'm here, of course, with the cast and DM of Evenfall. We are here to, answer any questions you guys have. What?
Indicate. I'm sorry.
Indicate.
Ooh. This is going to be just kind of a chill, sort of freeform thing where we are just going to answer any Evenfall related questions that are posted in the chat relating to its characters, its storyline, the what ifs, the whens, the hows, the whys, and the hows. I already said the hows, didn't I?
Don't forget the house.
No, I can't forget
And the wherefores.
And the wherefores and the wheres.
And the who would have it, really.
And the why not?
Like I said, this is going to be kind of a freeform thing, and I've already shared this in the Discord. I already kind of shared it in the chat, but I do want to reiterate it just one more time, because last time we did this, we got a lot of general D&D questions of hey, what's your guys' favorite monster? Or it's hey, Jacob, how do you feel about this controversial mechanic? Those questions do have merit. But there is a time and a place for those,
Indeed.
And that is the Arcane Lounge podcast, not this. This is an Evenfall only zone. Anything related to the Evenfall cinematic universe. I guess maybe some Sunder questions could fly here.
Yeah, so I guess to kind of explain a little bit of context to anybody who's confused, the end of Evenfall is sort of the end of this world and these characters as well, and it's this world that we've been playing in for a long time. So I figured this would be kind of fun because, and I think somebody brought it up in the chat, and Grace kind of seconded it. And I was like, this is such a great idea. We're just, all the secrets can be free because there's really nothing left that's going to sort of continue into something else except for 3 characters who are going to be in Strixhaven. So, unfortunately, you can't ask any questions about anybody's kids. More specifically, just your guys' characters that you're going to play in Strixhaven.
Yeah.
But
if we can't answer, we will say we can't answer that.
That's 2% of everything that could be out there. So,
as of this moment, we don't really have any questions in the chat. So, when there's moments like that happen, we've decided that we're going to pick someone from the table to ask questions questions to people at the table to maybe kind of get people's thoughts going. So, we're going to just start out with Jacob because Jacob clearly has some questions. And, I will be moderating throughout the whole thing.
That's the other thing I wanted to say. So, most of us aren't really looking at the chat. So Jack's sort of funneling all of it through. So we'll trust this man.
Please,
Jack is the filter.
If you have any questions, please post them in the YouTube chat. If you post them in the Discord, I will not see them. You can only post them here on the. Well, I guess you could post them on the Discord, but then I wouldn't see them, and that's just pointless. So please, if you have any questions about any Evenfall related stuff. Ask and we shall answer.
Okay, so I
we'll
did
let
have a
Jacob
question.
Start for
and this
now.
question, it's redundant for me to ask questions because I know everything, but I'm just sort of getting the ball rolling here. Do you guys remember the very beginning of this game when you guys had the secrets that you started with, and you had a little piece of lore that you got to learn in your session 0 that we all did? We all did a one-on-one session 0, except for Jack. Do you guys?
My secret was that I would eventually join the game.
yeah. But do you guys remember what they were?
Mine was that Stibbles was wanted, but I don't remember what for. It was
I remember Stibbles was that he learned about a Cimerius for Phelan, which was kind of fun because he brought it up a couple times in there. But it was weird because I was going to have Stibbles meet Cimerius, and then it was going to be this scary thing where he's like, "Hey, I'm following you," and then he would bring it up later and be like, "Guys, there's this creepy dude following. He's looking for this guy named Phelan." But what ended up happening is they went fishing. Stibbles was just really nice to him, and he was like, "Oh, can I ask you some questions?" He was like, "Yeah, come on my boat. Let's go fishing." And they had a nice chat. Then he left. And so when Stibbles brought it up to you, he was like, "Oh, there's this really cool guy looking for you," and I remember you being like, Jacob, is this that guy? Because that's not a cool guy. And I'm like, oh, I know. I don't know why, but they're friends.
I remember Logan bringing that up and was like, yeah, he was really cool, but he eats fish whole.
Yeah, because they went fishing.
Yeah,
So
he just ate a whole
and I was
fish.
trying to show that he was like sort of monstrous. So he was because he was a Rakshasa. So I thought, oh, he'll eat the fish whole. And Stibble's like, oh, that's weird. Anyways.
I think oh, sorry. I found why Stibbles was wanted. For
Why?
adventuring, deserting, and betrayal.
Sounds about right.
I don't remember what that was.
Betrayal is a crime.
Apparently.
I feel like I had one for Philip. I don't remember
No,
what
I
it
had
is.
That's right.
Well,
yeah.
I think we all had.
What did you
we
say
gave
that you
two.
remembered?
I just thought it was super weird, or it's super fitting that of all the people Stibbles befriended, it was the bad guy.
Yeah.
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 That is pretty good.
You know, I think it was that Stibbles was in an adventuring party, and I think he left they abandoned him, or he abandoned them, and they were like, man, screw this guy, so they put out like wanted posters for him or something like that. Yeah, something I don't remember exactly.
Phelan's secret was that Philip, well, not secret. What he found out was that Philip was a murderer.
You
Yeah.
met Jarrus. Phelan in session 0, went to a tavern, and Jarrus was like, "Hey, I know who you are. I want to tell you about my small boy Philip. I need you to look after him. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my mountain now."
Just imagine Phelan's like, okay,
And then you guys came back, and he was like, "What did you do? Beat him up? I'm mad at you now."
My small boy.
Yeah,
My small boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember yours? I remember yours, but I want to see if you guys remember.
I remember. I think mine had to do with core.
It did. Yeah.
That there was a mysterious masked woman.
There was a guy, it was Isaac, he was
Yes.
the vampire guy. He met up with you, and he was looking for Core, because Lycus was looking for Core, and Lycus had hired had told one of the factions of Kize to go find this mysterious woman who had disappeared, and then, it's like Attack of the Clones. Jango Fett sends a person who sends a person who sends, it was like that, and so Isaac showed up and was like, "Have you seen this person? Okay, well, I'm looking for him, bye," and that was kind of
Did you
it.
say Jacob Fett?
Django.
Did I say Jacob Fett?
I heard Django.
I heard Django.
Maybe I wasn't paying
Jacob
attention.
Fett.
Jacob.
Yeah, because that was eventually the inn we used to contact him.
Yeah.
Was like, I found that person you told me to. Because at first it was like Kurt met Core and was like, no, this person's all right. Like, whatever, fuck it. Like, we don't, like, I don't need to sell them out. And then it was like, oh, we used it to get in touch with him and used it as leverage. Yeah.
I'm sure we got money out of it too.
You used it as leverage after she died.
Do you remember what yours was?
Yeah, it was Lilia's Blackburn.
That was because you had been...
Well, my entire backstory was being
Core's
sent.
Session 0 started in Kize. You were summoned to the council, and it was Lycus had set up a trap. He was going to try to get you, but it got messed up in the bureaucracy, and you ended up going after some soldiers that went missing, and you went through a Shadowfell crossing that led into Arigia. Yeah. And then Lilia was fucking around with the Talon.
But yeah.
Yeah.
My session 2 was all about. I was already part of the convoy that very first where you're introduced, and I learned about the Talon there.
So the Talon had crossed the Talon had crossed a lot of hands, and it was something that I wanted to be like this. It had gotten lost in just merchants and people passing it around, and it had eventually gotten to where you were. So I don't know everything that it went through, but the wand of Orcus was shattered by Lycus, because when he escaped out of the abyss, when he was first launched there, Orcus was like, "You're not leaving." Also, I turned your girlfriend into a bone claw, and they fought, and then he beat him. Upon beating him, he shattered the wand of Orcus, and then he trapped him in the painting. And then I was like, and then I'm gonna put a piece of it right there.
So thank you for that, because a lot of questions have rolled in. So that was the perfect buffer. But before we get to that, we did get a super chat from our man Barden, our favorite 19th century oil baron. Where does he get all of this Australian money?
I know.
$50 Australian from Barden. Thank you so much, my friend. He says, "Hey all, can't stick around too much, but wanted to let you all know you're incredibly awesome people, and it's so nice to be surrounded surrounded by such a welcoming and wholesome community. Sad to see Jacob's world end, but know it's leading to bigger things. Less than 3.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate
Less
it.
than three.
Okay,
3.
thank you, Barden. And we got another super chat, but a question was attached to that super chat, so
Hey.
we'll get to it in a second. But Dallas Lane, thank you so much for the $10. We will get to your question in just a moment. There were a couple of Kurt questions, so I think I wanted to just get all of those out of the way first.
fire.
So Jordan, why did Kurt change their class so much? Like, why did you like? There was they said this is from Caleb Bourret or Caleb Bohr. Why did Jordan love to switch his character class so much? I love it too. Just curious about his personal reasoning.
Part of it is that I have shiny new object syndrome, and I always want a new thing, and I get super into a thing when I get into a thing, and then like I burn myself out on that thing, and then
Very
it's like,
similar
well,
in that regard.
I want something new now, and that's always the reason that I don't play characters for long. And Kurt was back when they started, they were a chaos sorcerer, and I decided early on that if there were an opportunity for Kurt to do the most insane thing, that they would do it. That like if there is an opportunity for them to affect the plot, change themselves, do something different, that they would be on a mission to do so. And then
It was not hard, because anytime I would bring up a smidgen of something, like you going to Umberley was just because I said, okay, you guys are going on a boat now. And you were like, I guess I'm theming my character to the sea. I was like, oh, all right. Sounds good, I guess. And then I think Philip had brought up Umberley once, and you were like,
His mom
I'm
too.
cool with that.
They had a good speech together.
Yeah.
It was because of that, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I did want Kurt to have an arc, like to be different than when they started. And
Well, there was another question that kind of tied into that. It was like, what was your general inspiration for Kurt, and how did you kind of see their whole arc
that's
sort of
cool.
resolving? There's been a because people have noticed that you kind of switched character concepts a lot. So I guess people are curious what you were thinking would happen going into it. What inspired you?
so we'll go with the concept first. When we played this first game, that a lot of these characters, Stormlands.
This was off-stream.
Yeah.
Off stream, no longer canon.
Kurt started out as I started watching RuPaul's Drag Race a lot, and I said I want to play a character that does that. And so first Kurt was a drag queen, and then when I was reading about drag queens, I found drag kings. That I didn't know that was a thing, and I was like, oh shit, maybe Kurt's a drag king. And then like as I read more and more about gender identity and fluidness, and like just went on a personal journey on that. It was like maybe Kurt's more than that. But like originally Kurt was a draconic bloodline sorcerer, and like kind of was becoming a big bad villain of the original game. There was an opportunity for Kurt to go to hell, and they went there and like started their own adventuring separate team. It was very weird. I think I angered Jacob with that a lot.
I don't remember any of this, to be honest.
Good. And then
I was like, yeah, I remember.
and then for this game, I reskinned. I didn't want them to be so they were mean. And I didn't want them to be so mean. And so I was like, well, I kind of want the same flavor. I kind of want a similar flavor. So we do it. I thought that wild magic was dope, and Jacob we found a cool. We kind of reskinned some of the wild magic stuff so that it would happen more often.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted that to.
That was always my thing too. Is like I wanted you to have wild magic, but the only thing I don't like about wild magic, and specifically for this campaign, because I kind of wanted to just go fucking nuts with this game.
Yeah.
And so that's why we did crunchy crits too, because I was just like, let's go crazy. This is the final game I'm gonna have in this world, and I want to tell a really awesome, huge story that I'm probably never gonna do it again. So I wanted you to get wild magic like often, and it fucking happened, and I loved it. Like I loved it. Like. Man, I spent a long time working on those goblins in that goblin mine, but the reverse gravity was like super, super cool.
Yeah. And then, as far as like as their arc progressed, like once they killed their dad, they were so obsessed with like wanting to kill their dad that like once you do it, what do you do? Like, what does a person who's obsessed with vengeance want after that? And then it was, I think it kind of became like Kurt attaches to people, and so like when they became a pirate, they were super into La Marcia and like that life, and then they on a whim they had chucked off an eye, and a god actually talked to them like that. I felt like that would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And part of I switched Warlock because it was a charisma-based spellcasting class, and if I had thought about it more, I probably would have done Cleric sooner, because I think I misunderstood what Warlock was. I'd never played that class before, and so part of that was just like, I could do literally something I've never done before. And then like I kept trying to interact with my patron the way a cleric would interact with their god. And then it became, I would guess the next logical step for Kurt would be to switch classes, not switch classes, but to multi-class. Which, part of me is take the good and the bad. Like, it was really cool to see 16th level characters popping off with 16th level shit. And it was and I don't regret Kurt's arc, but like it is weird to be half of a cool cleric and half of a cool warlock at the end of the game,
Yeah.
And those two classes blended better than I thought, but part of it's just I wanted them to change, and then I kind of committed to Kurt's selfish, and so when they get a wish spell. And especially once they, wish for Vincent to come back, it's kind of like, well, one for you and now one for me, right? So
that's actually kind of interesting. I never realized how parallel Kurt and Kor's story were. Like, because Kor's whole thing was also the being like lustful for vengeance about the one that killed her master. Yours was lusting for vengeance. You just got to see what happened after that.
Yeah.
I kept telling you guys towards the beginning of the game when we were still playing on Zoom, your guys' characters blew me away because you guys were like the antithesis of one another, but you were still so similar. Like you guys were you were so similar, and it was wild how your characters would interact.
All about art, but in very different ways. Yes. All about all these things in very different ways.
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about interacting with Kor early on was like Kurt's love language is antagonism, and
You don't say.
and which is incredibly toxic and bad. Just so that you all know, I understand it.
You're playing Strixhaven, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Jordan's not that bad of a guy."
I'll be playing one character, and they're gonna start, and like the duality of.
Jacob gave us two
he doesn't have a choice.
Just these two creative people that that there's a yin and a yang, and that two people could. Part of the reason they don't get along is because they are so similar, but they can't see their similarities because of the key differences that they are that blind them to all that, which I thought was really
very
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Just a very compelling. I know how you feel about the multi-classing thing, because in several of the games that I play in, I just triple multi-classed a character, where it's like I'm not
that monkey's paw.
my character is not a wizard, warlock, sorcerer. He's just like a mage, and he's a mage because like there's no class that lets me do all the things that I want to do.
Cool.
So it's like, because like if you look at like Hyacinth in Craig's game, it's like they're not a monk ranger, they're just Hyacinth. So it's like I feel you where it's like it's not really like It's like taking the built-in mechanics and trying to find something that speaks to you.
Yeah,
I love that a lot.
That kind of fulfills the vision that you have in your head.
I love D&D. I think borders and rules are really important. Like, necessity is the mother of invention and everything. But
Yeah.
like, there are times where it feels stifling, where D&D tells you what you can be and what you should be, whereas like that's why I gravitate more towards like the narrative games, because you just, whatever your idea is that.
Exactly.
And so yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on. We do have some questions about Paul the Skeleton. Jacob, what's going on? Where is he? How's he doing?
Wow, I really forgot about. I'm sorry, everybody. I really forgot about.
I think
Paul
it
the
might be
Skeleton.
one of the most asked questions in
Really?
here.
Okay, I have
Echo
to
Mage
imagine.
started it, and then a bunch of other people asked
Paul the
too, I believe,
Skeleton,
so.
who is a skeleton that got brought back to life. Oh no, it was a skeleton who was a part of that one skeleton that you guys saved in Tetheros' castle, who was a part of his army, who really liked Stitch for some reason, and then you wished.
No, he did.
Paul wished.
Yeah.
Paul wished
I
that he
gave,
could
remember, I
be a
gave
companion.
Paul the thing, and he
Right.
broke it, and it gave him a wish, and we had no idea.
Okay, I'm going to be complete. Okay, let me just explain where he is, if we're going to gamify it. Paul probably never left Stitch's side and helped him work and became like a second pair of hands. And for the most part, Stitch saw him as like a tool, but then eventually they became like friends and like really close, even though he can't speak. He was that's just Paul, your little skeleton buddy.
Awesome.
Yeah,
He's hanging out.
The
And
Paul
he probably
Gooded.
helped
Yeah.
build a good portion of Pacifica, or Atlantitis, or Choculitis, whatever it's
We
called.
have
Atlantis.
we have a little guide so that he can play goblin monsters and do motions.
He helped build a lot of that city, and then
'Cause he doesn't need to breathe.
He doesn't need to breathe. He doesn't exert himself, and then he probably lives on the Annihilator.
Are you a what do we call it? Necromancy apologist now?
Yeah.
A soul bound to service forever.
Forever.
It was his.
Slavery's not so bad, guys.
Technically not a
Jesus.
soul.
Okay,
Technically
on that note,
undead.
on that note,
Take off the head and it's like a hamster, operating the body.
If I recall correctly,
be.
Jacob said off of game that Paul's wish was that he could go with Stitch, not that
Well,
he
it was
had
more that
to.
he was unbound and that he could just kind of.
Yeah.
He is not
he didn't-
permanently bound to you. He chose to be free, but wanted to hang out
Yeah,
with
the
you.
idea was he was permanently bound to the other guy,
Yeah.
and then used the wish to break free of that.
Stitch will die, and he'll go.
I guess I'll go find
Yeah, I
the
don't
next
know if you guys
goblin.
he'll just be hanging out with Stibbles Jr. for eternity.
Any of the characters that were not often criticized, but if you have any issues with that were like apologetic for slavery or dead named their children were the bad guys. Like, that's the wrong thing to do. But anyways, Paul, I wanted to explain what the fuck was Even Paul.
Even Paul,
Even Paul. That's it's
the name of his memoirs.
honestly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the idea of him was. The Shadowfell arc was a little too monotonous, slow, dark, and sad all the time. And we would play games, and everybody was just kind of like, okay, it's the Shadowfell, and it sucks. And I'm like, this is what I want. Oh, no, it's not fun. So I just wanted to lighten it up a little bit. I wanted to put something in there that would be, be kind of fun for you guys. So I was like, I'll just have the skeleton be a little goofy little guy, and then that's all it was.
Filling all those fucking saves and get another message telling me what it's like to shut up. I'm like, fuck.
Speaking of the
sad.
Shadowfell, our question from Dallas Lane, thanks again for the $10, is about that arc. So they're curious. When the party was in the Shadow Realm, TM, they ran into some paladins that no one knew. Did Jacob have any plans with these guys, or was it just an excuse to use the monster that hated Lilia?
It was mostly just that. It was that part was really weird because I had an idea with it, and I don't know what fucking happened, and it got really fucked. I don't want to go too much into detail with it because I really just don't really remember all that much. I know that the purpose of them at the end of the day, was to have some people show up and go, you're a monster, and to make the party go, no, she's not. That was all that was supposed to be, was to reinforce that this idea that, like, reinforce Lilia's mentality that she's been living with her entire life, because I feel like I didn't get to play that out that much, and I really wanted to have something in the game that sort of proved her mentality right, which was that people don't see me like a person, people often see me like a undead or like a thrall of some kind, and I wanted to reinforce that to make the ending where she becomes a person again much sweeter, and that was their whole deal. And I was like, I don't know, I'll come up with a random backstory as to why they're here. I thought it would be cool if there were like some paladins hunting undead in the Shadowfell. Like, I thought that was a fun idea. They're going to show up, they're going to do their thing, they're going to leave. Oh, the party's hunting them down. Oh, I did not expect this. Oh, they're holding them at gunpoint in a tower. Guys, this is not what I expected, but you know, I get it.
They were racist.
Yeah. And then it ended up becoming like this weird thing where like you guys thought that was like the next step forward, which like valid that you guys thought that, because I didn't give you fucking anything. And I was like, but I didn't expect it. I was like, oh no. Okay, this is weird. I'm just gonna put them in the right direction, and then we're gonna get out of this. And then I was like, man, this arc is kind of weird. I'm gonna put a funny skeleton in it.
Thus Paul was born.
Thus Paul was born.
Yeah. So there is kind of the elephant in the room question that has been asked. I think you may want to save it for later. Is what would have happened if Lycus had won? I don't know if you want to answer that question now or maybe save it for later.
I can answer it now, and I can answer it quickly, so I don't spend so much time
All right,
on it.
So this is the moment, y'all. So like, pay attention, because some of you have been asking this
note.
question, and this might be the only time we talk about it. So
I mentioned it to you guys a few times before, but I think I sort of finalized it in my mind afterwards. So you have to understand one concept about this before this sounds like this is kind of shitty and dumb, Jacob, because I would see it that way if I was a player. Lycus doesn't... If Lycus ascends, Lycus becomes an entirely new being that is beyond what his mortal self was, because he becomes a god. Unlike some people, like how they like to run their games, Paige, for example, Tyler, for example, likes to run their gods more like sort of like the Greek gods, where they're like kind of closer to the ground. They have forms. They're sort of like people, and then they're also gods, you know, and they interact a lot. I'm different. I like to have the gods be extremely distant. Like, I like gods being undescribably unfathomable, and like if you were to even gaze upon what this god could be, your mind would explode and you die, kind of thing. So when Lycus ascends and becomes a god, he takes on an entirely new perspective and understanding of the universe as a whole, and he looks at himself as a mortal and goes, that is so beneath me now. That is so, like, it's so petty and small, and does not even begin to grasp the vastness of this universe. So that I have to start with that, because I didn't want you guys to know that. I wanted Lycus to be the bad guy. I wanted it to be like, oh, if he ascends, we may all die. That's what I wanted. But if he would have ascended, you wouldn't have all died. Instead, what would have happened is he would have realized that his petty mortal quandaries were beyond him, and he would have taken up his role as the god of stars and prophecies, and magic as well. And what would have happened to the world is that the thing he would have wanted to happen would have happened. The sun would have never rose again. And the world would be inflicted in perpetual darkness. However, the stars would become so bright that they would offer a similar sort of light throughout the day as they would like wane and dim. Not the same amount as the sun. It would be like dim light, like when the moon is like at its peak brightness. But that would have been about it. The world would have moved forward with this change, and the plant life and everything would have still like functioned and continued. It would have now gained its like they would have all changed to where they gain their nutrients from like the stars, which now provide them whatever they need, and magic would have then completely changed. This is the sort of big one, is that all magic would no longer be connected to like the weave. Instead, it would like it's like if you had the weave, it's now that there's like a third dimension, and it's strung up by the stars, and the stars literally can predict future outcomes. They can help you learn how to use magic, and like people who are born under certain star signs would become like sorcerers or like or powerful magical individuals, and that would have been about it. He would have gotten two of his his immortal requests, which was that Morgantha would have become a person again. She would have no longer been a bone claw, and Alisar would get his magic island, where everything is peaceful and awesome and cool. So also not great, because then Alisar would have also won. But that's all that would have happened. You guys would have lived, and you would have had to continue on with, if you would have lived. Like if you were alive and he ascended, you would have, you guys would have continued living in the world. It would just be forever changed in that aspect.
That actually leads to me having a question. Did you have a timer in the background for number of rounds before he ascended during that last combat?
Yeah,
Because otherwise there wouldn't have been a way for us to live in
the last combat, I had it to where if it was like, I didn't have like a timer. I was gonna say like a round, like a minute, but we never really got there. In like the last round, if like half the party was dead, he would have like used the Heart of Immortals and then given you guys a round to stop him. And if you failed, he would have ascended. Oh, okay. But he never got the chance.
But you had an option.
I had an option.
He ascends
he
while
just
we're
needed like half of you unconscious, and that just never happened. Mm-hmm. So yeah. In the end, like, it wouldn't have blown up the entire world. It would have fundamentally changed it, and it would have been in his image, and also it wouldn't have been, like, a good ending. But it wouldn't have been, like, the world's deleted. Yeah. But you guys didn't know that, and I didn't want you to know that.
You had also mentioned when you told us that because there was so little light, that monsters would actually become more...
Oh, yeah. It would have been, like, the worst-case scenario for all of you. Like, your dad would have lived. The portals to other realms would have become stronger, so, like, Grotz would probably try to terrorize Philip even more. Cora would have lost her blade singing. Lilia would, the Raven Queen would probably reestablish a connection with Lilia again. No. And then monsters would roam the entirety of the world. So, like, and then Laszlo and Ashkari would be spending the rest of their lives dealing with all of it. And would have never got to settle down. So, like, it would have been a whole, like, the bad ending for all of you guys. But...
Not necessarily the worst.
Not the worst for the world, but definitely not the happy ending that you guys got.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we're gonna keep chugging along here, folks. But first, thank you, Eldritch B, for the $20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will get to your question in just a moment. There's a lot of people asking about like everyone's inspiration and original concepts for their characters. I feel like that one might take a while to answer, to go around. So I don't know. Do you want to?
We could do it if we put everybody on a time limit.
Okay, sure. I'm down with that.
I was going to say Kurt's already kind of...
Yeah, we've kind of already talked about Kurt's inspirations and stuff. I guess now we could just open that up to everybody else. Mine's really short, so I'll just start. Laszlo I made in about 10 minutes after I met Jacob and learned that he was into D&D, and he was like, hey, you want to be in my game? And I was going through a big Fire Emblem phase at the time, and so I was like, I need a character. And I looked at one of my Fire Emblem characters, I'm like, great, Laszlo it is. That's it.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Laszlo... I lovingly ripped off from Fire Emblem.
What was the personality and all of that? Like,
yeah, the Laszlo's personality in Immortals, because Laszlo's character in
very different
in Immortals, or Laszlo's character in Fire Emblem is that he's like a flirt, but he's like very bad with women. I made the Laszlo that was a flirt but was like good with women. so yeah, and then and then he met Ashkari, and then the rest is history. But yeah, so that was there was similar but different.
I remember when we finished Immortals. Well, there was a game where we had finished Immortals, where we were like part 1 of 2, and we were at, I think, Marshall's house. And as we were walking out the door, Grace was like, my next character is going to be a blood hunter. And I was like, that's awesome. And that was like 2017 or something like that, 2018.
That was when I first started creating Phelan. I went,
great segue.
You know what? Yeah. I was like, well, why not? I wanted to go with the Blood Hunter because honestly, it's dope. I like Dragon Age and Grey Wardens because their aesthetic is fucking key.
When you did that ending with Phelan, where he was like, he's going into the deep roads, I was like, Grace,
Hi.
you don't understand how much I love that.
Because I love it.
Yes. I love the Grey
But I wanted to go the non-edgy route that all monster hunters always go. Phelan's kind of a bit of a snub towards that because he's not edgy. He's actually a very sweet man. And that was primarily a lot of that concept and then just building him from there. And then Jacob threw a werewolf into it and I went, okay. All right. Everybody's like, he's a furry. And I was like, this was not my plan. This was not what I expected.
I threw it in because you had told me that his dad was Order of the Lycus.
Yeah,
And I
and
was
I
like,
loved it.
Cool.
It was great. No, I loved it, but it was so unexpected. And then people kept making furry jokes.
I
was
just,
like,
dude,
God damn
to be
it.
honest, Phelan just fits that little stereotype of just being a good boy. He's just he's a good little lad. Yeah, I had constantly said in the past that like because I kept thinking about the party and their makeup and like who everybody was and I was always like, out of everybody in the party, the only person, the most selfless person in the whole party is Phelan. Like Phelan cares about the other members of the party, and they have characters that they care about, like Kyria and Vincent. But like at the end of the day, if somebody's going to like be the most altruistic member of this party, it's Phelan. Like easily. Yep.
Good boy.
Yep.
The good boy.
And you kind of referenced that you made Phelan before, like, Sunder. Even.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Phelan came before Kyria, funny
It was
enough.
weird because when you made Kyria, you were like, "Oh, this is Phelan's brother," and everybody knows Phelan is Kyria's brother. And it's just really funny. It's
The other way around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Sunder character Kyria without Phelan.
crazy.
Yeah,
Funny how that all works out.
So how do you want me to answer this question? Because I got a couple of characters.
Oh, that's true.
I can speed answer all three of them.
Speed
I guess.
answer all three of them.
I'll even work backwards.
Oh, so does Spencer.
I can even work backwards. Stitch was Jacob and I went, man, Colton, your characters sure do die or leave the game a lot. And then I was talking to Jacob about making a goblin artificer, and Jacob's idea was like, hey, what if we depowered him a little bit? Because like, it doesn't make sense that there would be this random little goblin boy in the Underdark that's just as powerful as the party.
I didn't want to demean Cardos's like sacrifice, so like I didn't want you guys to just we found another guy who's just as capable. I was like, I want you to play somebody who kind of sucks, and you went with it.
Honestly, it was fun. I mean, the Stitch was like the MVP of utility when he was around. He did one of my favorite in combat moments in the entire game was when Stitch had Kurt on one side on a rope and he was just hanging from the rope with the brain dragon.
That brain dragon fight was fucking nuts.
And Stitch was like,
that answers another question, so we can talk about that one later.
But
honestly,
then going back to Cardos, Cardos actually, Sari, my fiance, had a character in the RP section of your Discord server when it was started, named Sardak, and his whole thing was that he was a cleric of Tiamat who was like a foil to a different character's plotline and story. And his whole story was that he ended by dying, being brought back by Tiamat, and then being like, you know what? Fuck this. I hate this. I hate this god. And came into the tavern while she was like basically racking his brain trying to get him to listen, and then he ended up meeting his end there. And so I went, well, I make a Dragonborn cleric, but I don't really want to do the normal. And so I went, oh, I know. What about Tiamat? And I brought it up to her, and she was like, yeah, run with it. And I'm like, cool, I'm not stealing your concept then. If you're saying it, but
You're allowing it.
The interesting thing was that when I was playing him, it ended with me not betraying Tiamat, and instead
You were afraid you didn't take her concept, but you flipped the name?
I did flip the name. That was how I came up with the name. She was like, you could just flip the name, it's perfect.
Inspiration.
Sardak and Cardos. That's fun.
Yeah. So we ended up flipping the name, and then the fun thing was that his story ended up being the opposite, where when given his opportunity to snub Tiamat, he instead embraced it fully and
interesting
and
rewrote history.
Rewrote history by bringing well, not the rewriting history part, but the bringing Tiamat to him in the...
A question.
Yeah.
Because I think there were a lot of... I noticed a lot of Cardos apologists on the boards.
Sure, fire away.
I'm curious, to what extent did Cardos realize what he was doing was in fact evil?
I think that Jacob hit it very well on the head in that so delving into Cardos's backstory a little bit that we didn't really get to develop a whole lot, and like especially like in game, he was raised basically by a cult of Tiamat, and so his entire life he was indoctrinated into this belief of Tiamat is actually like a good individual who intends on ridding the world of impurities. And so when the thing happened at Port Moira where the entire city got destroyed, Cardos's rationalization and the cult's rationalization was that Tiamat was brought in by people who intended evil, and so she destroyed them, and anything else was unintentional collateral. And so there was a rationalization for everything leading up to the point where Tiamat is summoned and the party is fighting her. And when that moment is met was when Phelan and Cardos met in combat. Cardos was like, I can't fight you. You're... Like,
I think
if I have a friend,
I think there was a moment before that in Basusa where Cardos did commune and the party did talk with Cardos and was
he
like,
was unsure.
hey, you know, Tiamat's like probably even going to destroy everything, and he was sort of unsure. And I guess because I sort of just started playing Cardos after you'd given up with him, my idea behind him was that, and like it's obviously it's very nuanced, so you think about it however you want to think about it, which is fine with me. But that he was somebody who had to do something horrible for the greater good, that he wanted to, like, he figured that if he was with Tiamat and that if he served her, the party would have an easier time fighting her because they could get through him. But he couldn't waver because Tiamat could like discover treachery, so he couldn't be treacherous to her because then his plan would fail.
Yeah,
so
I mean that is definitely
in the end,
a part
all
of it.
Cardos wanted to do was die to the party defeating Tiamat, and he got what he wanted, and that was it.
Yeah, and I definitely think it would lean further that way.
Kurt's not wrong. He ran the risk of
he was
blowing up the world.
And to clarify, to go to what Jordan was saying about the way that Kurt acted sometimes with the antagonist, I understand that what Cardos did was wrong, but he didn't.
Yeah,
he didn't understand that what he was doing was wrong. And
right,
that's the
right. And I just really liked the dichotomy between these two characters. I thought that was really cool because it was just I was really in that moment seeing how your characters felt about that. Like Kurt is very idealist, thinks about ideals and the future of the world, and wants to, in their own mean way, want to better it in some way. And Phelan, while altruistic, really does care about his friends and wants to see the good in everybody. And I thought that was just really fucking cool.
And then for Core, to be completely honest, it was kind of a reference to Yasuo, League of Legends, especially at the time when I was first creating her. I've always loved his story and how vague it is.
I was really happy when you said
the
that too,
same
because
thing.
you had told me, you were like, I've always wanted to play this character, and I'm like, do it in this campaign, please.
Yeah, and if you look at Yasuo, he's kind of like a blade singer in some way. He has like a lot of abilities that are very similar. He basically has like a steel wind strike, which is fun because I got that. But expanding on his story, because his story is very similar, where his master died, no one knows what happened, and he's on a journey to like find out what happened.
Yeah.
So I really just wanted to take that and expand on it, and make a character that that didn't really know what she was doing, because she didn't. She had no idea. I mean, she grew up in a little like elven society, and then had to leave because people blamed her for her master dying, and so I wanted to make someone that was kind of beat up by all the people around her outside of her master, and then had to go out on her own and kind of figure out life. I still like the Insage thing that you did, kind of the name taking, because part of the reason I actually have it in here, we never picked this, which is really interesting. But I have in here, and I don't know if you even remember this. Core is an alias.
Yeah. Yep. I knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, I even have in there Core with quotations around it on her original character sheet.
That's right. I remember that.
Because I remember you and I talking about how the name of the planet was Core, and so it didn't make any sense for it to be named Earth.
We made so many jokes about that. Grace kept saying it was like if your character was named America.
Yeah. And so part of the idea behind that also was her kind of progressing past being who she was and just becoming the person that she became with the party and taking core, and then later in Saj when she remembered everything.
cool.
So it's fun that like her name and who she is, it's a story of becoming someone based off of the people around you rather than based off of your experiences.
What was your inspiration?
Hold on, really quick before that. So I think what we're gonna do, because I'm seeing a lot of questions, there are some really broad ones that kind of apply to everybody, and then there's some specific ones. So I think what we'll do here is this will be our first like big roundtable question where everybody answers, and then we'll do a couple of focused ones that might be able to be answered more quickly, and then we'll do another big roundtable focus.
Fun.
So
Cool. Love that.
that's and also Ram Raven, thank you for the $10. We will get to your very specific question in a moment.
Very nice.
Yeah, so
Spencer, what was your
Spencer,
inspiration
take it away.
for Philip and Lamarcia?
For Philip and Lamarcia, they were the continuation of the Bastion family that I had created already. And I just wanted to play two very different characters who are both the children of my previous character, and they're basically complete opposites of each other. They took the upbringing that they were given, and they completely changed. They're complete opposites, and it's just
Philip grew up.
He took what he was given very differently than what Lamarcia did, and they kind of hated each other for it and hated their father for it.
Philip wanted to like serve Leonaya. He wanted to serve his father, and then like ended up, messing up. And then Lamarcia, like out the gate, is, doesn't want that. Rebels against everything.
Yeah.
Wants to become her own person.
Yeah.
And they both are like, you're dumb.
Kia is a character that I made when we were playing Stormlands. She was just a friend of both of them and their family, and then for Evenfall, I fleshed her character out more and gave her more of a reason to go after Philip.
Why Grotz?
He's cool. And hot.
Cool. I was gonna say.
Yeah, there we go. That's the
Cool.
correct answer.
Yeah, it's not cool. It's the opposite.
Honestly, my favorite trope in fiction is the devil-loving husband and the demon-loving wife.
He has connections to the Pale Knight, who has connections to the Bastion family. So I made them.
It's why Eugene's
possessed by-
blind.
It is why Eugene.
And that's why both of them can't see very good.
Is there a very quick way to describe why Philip is a gateway for Grotz?
So my original character Sphinx and her brother Benjamin made a deal with the Pale Knight, who is like the mother of all demons, and then Benjamin went on to have 3 children, and Eugene, who's the one that I played, is his line is cursed by the Pale Knight, and
the deal was eternal life.
Eternal life.
Yeah.
And so she created ways for them to be killed, but they ended up getting rid of them. And so she went, well, I'm just going to curse the rest of your family forever. So they're all blind.
They like outsmarted her.
Yeah,
like,
they outsmarted her.
Yeah.
And his child Eugene is blind because that was what the Pale Knight thought was a blessing, because if you witness the Pale Knight, you basically go insane. So she cursed him, and then in turn, Lamarcia and Philip are also cursed, and she wanted more of a reason or more of a way to get back at the family. So she basically told Grotz, who is her son, that he should get back at the family because she can no longer do that, and so he possessed both of Eugene's children.
But
Interesting.
Lamarcia gives into it,
And
that's why she doesn't have issues with her sight, because Grotz like fixes it. But that's why Philip can only see like 30 feet out. 20 feet out. I always think it's 30. 20 feet out because he never
That
gave
was
in.
always fun to count and be like, who can I see right now? Nobody. When Tiamat showed up, Philip could not see her.
Just felt
I know
the
she's
ground.
there.
It's just like, I know
Oh
she's
god.
And how about Kia?
here. Kia? She was a character that I made during Stormlands, and I fleshed her out more for...
She's just a lady.
She's just a lady.
She's
a cool lady.
She's
Very cool. That's my artist buddy right there.
Drew made the first art was Kia, and we were all like,
Yeah, that's honestly, that's the reason why Laszlo saved. because I don't know. But originally I thought that I was only going to be a temporary presence in the game. Also because we had talked to, and I was originally going to appear as a different character. as a guest in Evenfall, and then somebody told me, "Hey, something happened to Ashkari," and I'm like, "Well, where the fuck is Laszlo?" And nobody had an answer for me.
You're like,
so,
"Wait,
so I
I'm
was like, "Wait, that's me. That's my wife." So I was like, "Jacob, I'm playing Laszlo," and you were like, "Okay, that's cool." And originally I wasn't gonna stay in Evenfall. You were like, "I want you to be here for these certain amount of sessions, and then maybe you can show up again for the boss battle." I'm like, "Yeah, that's chill with me." And then eventually you were like, "No, I want you to stay on for the remainder of the show." And I was like, "Cool, sweet, thanks." And so that was one of the reasons. I mean, like, one, I didn't want Spencer's character to die. So
Right.
of course, and because
We were just in such a weird spot when you showed up.
and because it was like I was under the belief that like I'm only a temporary presence in this group, and also Laszlo's just a good person. I was like, I did the day that will live in infamy of sacrificing my character levels to save the person who just got art. But also that was a major reason. It was like, Jacob probably spent a lot of money on that art. I can't
You
just
should
let
worry
it die.
more about all that work that Drew put into that art. My
That's
God.
true too. Yeah, Drew did a lot of great work, and and everyone, just a round of applause for Drew Soman. I don't think he's here, but
Go give
if
him
he
your money.
watches this, great work.
He's fantastic.
Fantastic.
But
But
he was
yeah.
here for the
It was-
finale and the epilogue.
Yeah, he's been following the series, which is freaking awesome.
To say this really fast, the reason first of all, I just really like playing with you, but also we were just in such a weird spot in that point in the game because we were in like this transition phase of the game where like you're playing a different character, you're playing a different character, we're trying to get to another character, Kurt's becoming Umberly, I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore, and we're going into the
mind flayer
Underdark.
thing.
Can somebody kind of lead these people somewhere? Because they don't know what they want anymore, and it was great to have somebody who was kind of grounded and knew what they wanted, and it was like, okay, everybody follow him. Okay, good. It was
And
great.
we all
yeah.
went, Dad.
Yeah, it was really fun to play Laszlo again.
Ghosts?
Yeah, Ghosts.
So-
Ghosts.
So
Lilia was, when I was first making Lilia for Stormlands, this is all the way back in Stormlands, I was heavily inspired by Diablo 3, and particularly the Necromancers in
Hell
Diablo
yeah.
3.
Hell
which
yeah.
they kind of,
Very happy though.
the Necromancers are interesting because they're like followers of like trying to almost like stop undeath, but knowing how to use undeath, and
Yeah.
they're very interesting. It's
I
like
should
the
have,
soul
man. I
things.
should have remembered that. I would have given you an ability where you could summon a bajillion skeletons on top of it.
Paul's there. He's like, hey, what's up?
And then also inspired by some of the backstory from the Alice Magnus Returns game.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I pulled some of
I could see
ideas
that.
from that.
I can see that's very
awesome.
on brand for you.
Yeah, a little bit. So
That's awesome.
that's pretty much
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. I just pulled a little bit from these different aesthetics and different story beats, but nothing specifically. And also when I was making the character sheet, I was like, okay, kind of necromancy character. Okay, okay. I was just looking through things like haunted one. Okay, and then I just started building like, okay, so this is the most like edgy looking character on paper ever. Kind of like what Grace said about Phelan. How do I make her not as edgy made her kind of like this, like not antisocial, but like socially inept, kind of anxious, tentative.
Yeah, it really
person.
humanized her.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
All of the characters in this party are uniquely tragic, but I feel like Lilia was kind of the most.
Well,
in
she
this-
was supposed to be
yeah.
tragic. She was made to be a
Yeah.
tragic.
Well, you had stuff going with Lilia that was like put in retcon like going back like 5 years, right? Because you did stuff with Lilia even
Well,
in the Discord and all that.
So I first played Lilia in the Discord, but I already had an idea that I think I was going to be potentially using her as a campaign character, but I kind of used the Discord as like a test run for her. So it was never supposed to be like a permanent thing. I'd always planned for whatever happened there was not going to be an actual thing that happened in the thing.
I just always thought it was fun that like we had the goody monster hunter with the two monsters in the party. Like
Yeah.
I just really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool dichotomy. Okay, awesome. That kind of ends our first little roundtable segment. Go ahead.
And I just want to say the little bit of detail of Lilia's limp and deaf in one ear.
That's
is
right.
I pulled from the old Stormlands game. We just kept it. There was still a bone claw.
The bone claw was a thing in the first game.
The
I hadn't
Stormlands
established
game.
Lycus, but I knew I wanted to use a bone claw, and you guys
Yes.
fought the bone claw.
We
at one
fought the
point, and
bone
you got
claw,
wrecked.
and I got like stabbed through the gut
Yeah.
and like superhero thrown into a wall, went unconscious. Natural 20 got up and
Yeah.
just walked over. I think was I the last hit or one of the last hits?
Somebody-
on that.
yeah.
It was like just such a like awesome moment from that campaign. I was like, I just want to kind of pull some of the things like that came from it.
And we did. We ended up working in that at some point. You and Lucius had fought the bone claw at
Yes.
a point in time,
Yes.
which was fun.
The man, Stormlands was such a weird campaign.
It was.
Philip
Well, it
and
was weird
Lilia
for me.
hated each
I
other.
I had literally no idea what I was doing.
Well, you know
in
what?
the
That
entire
kind of leads into the question that Eldritch B asked. So I guess we could do like this kind of mini roundtable thing. Eldritch B asked, I'm late to the stream because I was LARPing for children. What was the
Whoa.
deal with the previous home game with these characters, which is Stormlands?
So I think I can stay out of this one because I
I
actually.
can kind of too because I appeared as
Am
like a
I-
guest.
I can
Am I
say
the
it in
only-
like 10
yeah,
seconds.
well, we've already
Yeah.
kind of
I
talked
was gonna say,
a
well,
lot
am I
about
the
Stormlands.
only outside of yourself? Am I the only person that didn't play their original Stormlands character?
Oh, I didn't play my original Stormlands character.
Like,
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
you two did not play the Stormlands.
We didn't really play it at
You
all.
didn't really play it.
I had a
didn't
session
know what I
0
was
and I was
doing.
going to play, but then I went to college.
You
Yeah.
played a
Yes.
Tiefling Gunslinger.
I
that's
played a
all
Tiefling
remember.
Gunslinger, and then I played her for like 3 games, and then I scrapped that idea and made like the farm girl samurai bard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good character. I played a Wood Elf
The
Inquisitive
deal
Rogue.
with Stormlands was that we had played Immortals for a long time, finished it. We knew we wanted to play another campaign, but we weren't like streaming yet. But we were thinking about streaming. So we like started Sunder, which was also continuation of a game that was taking place at the same time as Immortals called Ember Warriors. And we were like, we'll stream this game. We'll do a home game with this one.
With those people that were in the Ember Warriors.
We started Sunder and we started Ember Warriors, and then we like I started like so many games at the same time, and we played some Stormlands, and then I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, you put all your
went
like,
off-
creative juices into
Yeah,
something.
and it got weird too because halfway we like got like 3 games in, we started playing Taldore, Jack joined, and like I remember there being a game where like you guys did a Western bank heist with,
Yes.
with La Marcia,
Yeah.
which was fun.
That game
but
was fun.
Lilia grabbed a gun and
Yeah.
tried to shoot at someone, but it didn't work.
It was in Kaimal, I think. Yeah, because we were in Taldore.
We met Percy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was weird. It was really
That was
weird.
that
so
was weird.
we just kind of went, you know what? Let's put a hold on this. We'll come back to it later because I don't have any inspiration for this, and I want to finish Sunder. And then it just happened that like you two joined Sunder.
Yeah,
And then
eventually it's almost like Sunder, like,
like
kind of
flipped.
it flips.
And then it sort of like
Sunder
merged together, and they're like, okay, after
Yeah.
this game we'll play Evenfall, which will be. I didn't call
Philip
it.
was in Sunder.
Yeah, and then we. Yeah, and then. And then we
For the
just
longest
started
time, we just called it Stormlands V2.
And then eventually, yeah, because I
we-
didn't have a name
because
for
you
it. And then
didn't.
eventually
And then-
I was like, what? Do you guys just, we're going to restart
we
and
threw out
retcon
some
all of
names.
that.
I
And
think
everybody was like,
you
that's
came up with
fine.
the
And I was
name.
like, cool.
I'm
let's
so
do
proud
it.
of that because it's such a cool word. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, Grace came
Yeah,
up
that's
with
right,
the
Grace
Evenfall.
came up
It's
with
a dope ass
Evenfall,
word.
it was.
That's all I want to take credit
Could
for
not
of just it being a
think
cool
of a
word.
name. Yeah, and then we were going to play in person because it was the end of 2019 when we were planning, and then beginning of 2020, and then we were like, that's not going to happen.
We started Avnia for like
3
For like
games.
3 games.
3 games,
And then I, like,
and then pandemic.
Yeah, then I was like, we'll just wait. And then,
And then-
I was
This
like, we
is
should just play.
completely out of left field, but I still remember we did the Critical Role games, like the 3 of them. And at the
Yeah.
start of that, you say, "Hey guys, so this is a little mini series we're going to be doing for like a month while we're in lockdown." and then you also say, "We're going to play this until we're not in lockdown anymore." And then we did 3 weeks of it.
And then we're like, oh, this is going on way too long.
Because I was
Withered
drowning in
Wojak.
retail.
That's why I played Beerbot. I should reprise him sometime.
Anyways, that was Stormlands.
Yeah. Awesome. Let me go back.
I'm gonna play that character again. I'm gonna play that. Yeah, he'll show up in Winter.
You start to
What
realize
happened
that
to Lycus?
we don't start games for good reasons. We just go,
I want to
it
play.
looks like we're not playing D&D, and that should change.
How can we fit D&D into
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
I
What do we
changed
have?
my entire work schedule
To fit
fit
into
in
this
D&D.
game.
I kid you not. I went to my boss and I was like,
This one was
I can't
there?
work
Was there a
anymore these days.
magnificent mansion in the game? Was that?
And it was there
It was in
Sunder.
Sunder.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're not allowed
Do you
to.
want to answer a Sunder-related question, or should we
I
just
can
stick
do
with
it
Evenfall?
so fast.
Okay, what was Zavos
I know
asks
it's gonna
question
be.
for Jacob? The time has come. Reveal the secrets of the Magnificent Mansion's basement.
Yeah.
What was your plan for it? However
knew it.
serious or
The
nonsensical?
Magnificent Mansion's basement in Sunder was a because of the way that I imagine that Magnificent Mansion, because of how it was created. I don't remember exactly, but it was a special Magnificent Mansion, and underneath it there was a large maze, and whoever created that original Magnificent Mansion could not stop the portals from other dimensions from coming into their mansion. So to fix it, they made a maze in the basement to where if creatures tried to get in, they would have to go through a maze before they would get into the mansion, and then they would have time in order to stop them. But because the mansion was inherited by somebody who didn't build it, which was Vincent, they didn't know about that. So it was just a way for me to go, haha, Zerial's got in your mansion. That was it.
She
Oh,
was rat
Zephyr?
maze.
Yep. And then he gave
For
it
the
to Vincent
cheese.
because he couldn't cast it.
That's right.
That was it.
There was a question too of
That belongs to a
whatever
region.
happened to that city controlled by vampires.
Wait, what did you
City
say?
controlled by vampires. Oh,
Was Isaac
Primero.
also in that city?
Yes.
Or,
Yeah, and
because there was also a question about like what
that
happened to
one.
Isaac.
It wasn't
Like,
a
what
city-
the
I was
deal
going to
with
ask
Isaac?
that. What happened to Isaac?
I don't know. I forgot about him. I completely forgot about him.
Craig is clapping from
He
the other
went, he
room.
went back to Kize, and I just forgot.
He went, I wonder
he
what
was like, "I'm
happened
done."
to that little
I
girl.
half expected him to show up as a mini boss.
Primero
in
is a
the
city
Lycus
that's on the
fight.
coast. It's in Sunder, and it's a coastal city, and it has some lycanthropy people that live there because there's this curse that's widespread, and they're sort of like a minority that live there. Outside of that, very recently, Lycus wanted to establish more of a control on Sunder in order to try to find the pieces of the heart, so he sent a bunch of powerful people that he had known to infiltrate those cities. One of them was Primero, and that's why that vampire lady was controlling it, who's Isaac's mom, and and she had a piece of the heart that she had found.
Yeah. Is this in a
Wait,
story?
was that a real piece of the heart?
It was a real piece of the heart. It had broke, but Lycus had created synthetic pieces of the heart, and then he found out that they were synthetic and they didn't work until he destroyed the previous ones. So if he destroyed the previous ones, his new one like filled the slot and became the right one. So he didn't even have to find them. All he had to do was just like know where they were and destroy them.
Interesting.
Yep.
Could you imagine being the big bad guy and you send out your other younger, smaller bad guys to a place called Primero? You have to say that
Primero.
seriously, and
Go
like,
to
yeah, you
the
know,
barrow that's prize.
and that poor fuck who gets to be the one to go over there is like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm in Primero.
Yeah, that whole thing at the end where the heart like shattered was just to make you guys go, "Hey, look, the heart shattered," and everybody was like, "I don't
Who's
care."
dead?
Anyways, and I was like, "Aw."
Yeah.
Stibble's 12 giant snakes distracted everyone.
Whose piece was
I'll,
that?
s- I'll
Like,
say
the green one, I don't know.
probably if there was something that like seemed to disappear in the campaigns, it's probably because it got lost because there was so many other
There's just so much going on.
so
in
many
this
other
campaign.
balls Jacob was juggling that it just got.
I had to figure
lost
out
in the
Umberly. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was like I'm like a
Isaac
Pokemon.
doesn't matter anymore.
I had to forget
Isaac
Isaac to
served his
replace it with
purpose.
Umberly. Or,
I don't want
Sometimes
to
that
play with
happens
you anymore.
with as a DM. I know sometimes that happens with certain characters where it's like, all right, this guy honestly, like I wanted to show him more, but he's fulfilled his purpose. I don't need him anymore. Like he's.
oh, that's cool that you like remembered to do that. I just
Oh.
I just left my mind.
See, I thought, yeah, I don't know.
I honestly
I
thought he
don't
was
wanna
gonna.
you're
blame
right.
you.
I honestly
yeah,
thought
I wish
that,
I would've
It's a
done
very,
that.
it's a very lawful
No,
evil
yeah.
mentality of like, you know what? They served their purpose. It's done.
I absolutely do.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I honestly thought that Isaac was gonna show back up as a mini boss during the Lycus fight.
I'm gonna fuck him up.
Were you gonna say
Yeah.
something? Nope. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just making sure.
Lord Eaton served his purpose.
Hey,
Isaac to Lord
That's the
Eaton.
one character we cared
Was
about.
the nicest man
just
we
like-
had ever met.
He offered us
He gave us
coffee.
things even though he didn't know who we were. And he's
Tyler-
dead now.
Tyler killed off this old mentor-like character that we had at the start of the game. The only man all of the characters are like, we like
We were
this
happy
man.
to go visit him again, and we
Yeah.
found out he died.
Yeah.
We inherited
Off-screen, like,
and,
old
and he
age.
left us his castle and all of his property and
how he
shit.
just-
His coffee maker.
He had
that's the
no
thing.
heirs, and so you were the closest
He
heirs to
fucking
him.
died of old age.
Died of old age.
Greed. Like,
4 random assholes came in like
right,
a week
this-
ago.
Evenfall.
Yeah, this is Evenfall. I was
If
just
we
about to
get a-
say.
if we get a
I was
wish,
just
we'll
about to
bring
say. Ruger, thank you for the $2. The question is, what setting would be cool to see Craig run? That's not really an Evenfall question, but I want to say,
Rampage.
yeah, a lot of us have played D&D with Craig, and he's a great freaking DM. Anything he does is going to be great. We love you, Craig. You're fantastic.
Yes.
You know,
But the answer is
Clap for
Cyberpunk.
Craig.
The answer is Cyberpunk.
The answer is
one.
Okay.
Spelljammer.
I also just want to say
Spelljammer.
Spelljammer would be cool for Craig. Yeah.
Yeah,
I also want to say.
of Ravnica.
Oh my god! Yeah, a Magic game by Craig would be great. Would be great.
I think Craig just needs to pop
yeah, Craig.
his head in over here. Just
Craig is just nodding.
Craig is here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, Fear of Val asked a really funny question. Is this question for Jack? What host are you channeling right now? More of the intellectualism of Alex Trebek, the trolling of Conan O'Brien, or some other inspirations? I wish I was channeling somebody right now. I'm
Right
just
now you're
kind of.
channeling yourself.
I'm channeling myself.
Hell yeah.
I wish I
Jack
was
isn't
half
a
the
warlock,
intell-
he's a sorcerer.
I wish I'm more of a bard, but like
Yeah, all right.
I wish I was half the intellectual that Alex Trebek was, or half the troll that Conan O'Brien is.
Oh, you really are a bard. You're just taking a little
Jack
bit
of
from
all
everything.
trades.
Everything.
Jack of all trades.
Okay.
Go to break. No, I'm kidding. All right.
And that's the end.
So yeah, that is not the end of the stream. There was another question.
Man, you guys are denting the fuck out of this table.
Oh, Colton, people are asking if core. Yeah, sorry, that's my side of the thing. I was just very upset. It was when I was, escalating so much,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
like, I will kill you
So you gotta
and your
roll on
entire
That's
family
where you
like
gotta roll
this.
on the things that
This
the
is
cats are
Grotz.
destroying.
This one's from Grotz.
Yeah,
this
this
one's...
all the immortal beings that Laszlo is pissed off.
Yeah.
People want to know what's Core's real name if Core is an alias.
Colton doesn't know.
It's lost to time.
Oh, wow.
Lost to time and Saj.
Like Isaac.
Yeah, it's like Isaac.
It's over there with
Yeah, it's a
Isaac.
virtue
So,
name.
for
Yeah.
Gore, I
For
actually
Gore.
will genuinely check and see if I
She
ever
was
wrote
the
down
only
a
one
real
who
name.
knew, and then when she came back to life, the memory was just gone.
That's
never came
very
back.
possible, honestly.
Memory that she gave up to remember.
Let me find. Let me see if I have that written down somewhere. Inzi.
Inzi.
I remember that.
I-N-Z-I.
Inzi Insaj.
Inzi and
That's cool.
Originally,
That's a
her
good
name was
nickname.
Inzi Allure.
Oh,
Inzi and Lore.
Inzi Allure. That's cool.
O-L-U-R-E. Yeah.
I'm gonna borrow that.
Borrow. Like Hyacinth.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Not like Core.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. I forgot that we played a home game where Spencer named a character Core and she wouldn't let me live it down for like
Yeah.
3 years.
I think this is the first time that Spencer's brought up Hyacinth to me. I thought we were chill about that, but apparently not.
Didn't you name a character of yours after one of mine?
Yeah, to get back to you.
Yeah.
Nice. What it says? Speaking of the kobolds, Kurt gravitied to death. What happened to them after they were team rocketed?
oh yeah!
I think I know the answer to
They
this.
took all their stuff.
And their treasure sack.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Their
right.
giant treasure sack.
I mean, they just launched themselves away, and then they just...
died on impact.
No, they didn't die! No, they didn't die.
I'm pretty sure Jacob went, this is the cool part of Tomb of Annihilation that I didn't get to use.
Yeah, the goblins do that in Tomb, and it's really, really funny.
They're living their best life somewhere.
Yeah, no, they didn't fling themselves very far. They're just out of the cave, and they kind of fell, and then they probably got themselves out.
They had like
and then-
cushions
and-
prepared.
yeah. They probably have done it before, so they know what they're doing.
They know how to
They probably
fall.
had maybe a casualty because they're kobolds, and then they gathered all their stuff and they found a new rock to hide under. I mean, they
Living their best life.
You guys didn't hunt them down. They kept living. They got out of there, and you guys are like, well, goodbye.
Well, the whole point was we were just trying to get through, not
Yeah.
they were just in the way.
I don't mean to turn this into like the Jacob question hour. There's just a lot of questions
I mean,
for Jacob.
that's
If you have
natural
questions for
limit.
any of the cast members, please feel free to ask.
Please.
Of
I'm
course,
really
I know by nature.
encouraging.
I know by nature it's easy to ask Jacob questions because he probably has so many different contingencies and stuff planned.
I'll involve people. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, you have been, and it's been great. But this is one I'm kind of curious about, is because I know we kind of attempted to do it when we were there. But what would have happened if the party decided to try to rescue someone else from the Fortress of Memories, like Chai Li, Stibbles, etc.? Was there any plan for
God.
anything like that?
No,
Wait, who
there
said
was-
Chai Li? Who knew that?
Someone
We must
called
have mentioned-
D&D.
Oh, D&D's
Holy shit!
I'm sure we mentioned it.
I'm sure we
somewhere,
mentioned it. I was just
because,
surprised to see
I
Chai
think it
Li
was
name.
even decided that there was. Jacob had mentioned it, like there was stuff for Grud and Charlie we wouldn't have recognized because we have no
Yes.
connections. So.
Yeah,
So,
none of us
My-
were.
I had no plan. I was kind of okay because, I mean, this campaign, I knew what I wanted to happen, but also, like, it was very free form as well. I kind of was cool with anybody doing whatever they wanted. Like, once Vincent got brought back with the wish, I was like, well, I don't know how this game's going to
All
play out
bets are
anymore.
off.
So, yeah, all bets were kind of off. So...
Two Gnomes says, it's him, Mr. D&D.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't think you guys would bring back anybody else. Like, yeah, the option was there. It would have just been really weird. It would have just been
It
like,
would have
all
been
right,
really
so
weird.
instead of, who did you guys bring back?
We were supposed to
Core
bring
and Lilia.
No, we brought Core, Lilia, Ashkari, and Laszlo.
Ashkari and Laszlo.
Yeah, if we,
So-
and I expected you guys to do that, and then also I was thinking you guys would get Lilia, and then there was this weird thing where she was going to save her brother, and we were like, oh god, what's going to happen? And so, like,
we saved
in the
Lilia's
weird
brother.
circumstance,
we're
We
going
did.
to, but
we
didn't.
never did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Instead,
sheesh.
we
Let
let
him
him
rest.
rest.
so
Instead of
I
being trapped as he was.
I don't know. It would have just, I would have been really surprised and then been like, okay, we're going to have to end the game and then we're going to figure this out. Because in the off chance that Laszlo decides to bring back Mallory over anybody else, like, they,
Stitch,
Well,
listen, buddy, you gotta take one for the team and stay behind.
I guess the thing what made it hard is that we had to stay, like, we can only take so many back.
but that
We
was
can
the
only take
whole
as many back
point,
as
so I
we
just
had.
didn't think it would happen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would have just, I don't know.
I think it would have really like
No
it would
idea.
have really like bloated the story. Like that's kind of like jumping the shark a little bit, you know. It's like, well, if we're gonna save the world, why not just go into the Shadowfell and save all the great heroes
yeah,
of the past?
unfortunately,
You
it
know,
would have just been kind
of
of
undermined the story.
It would have kind of, well, it would have just like, it would have been weird because, like, okay, you bring somebody else back who's not involved with this plot, who I don't
They
want to
just
be
go-
involved with this plot, who's just like, oh, thank you, see ya, and then they just leave, and we never hear about them again.
Well, and then we lose a character.
And then,
that's
yeah,
pretty
and now
integral to the
Ashkari's
plot.
dead forever, so I don't know.
And plus, it would really only serve as fan service for ourselves.
Yeah.
For real,
Everybody
yeah.
else watching would have so little connection and reason to care.
Yeah.
Whereas we had built these characters and
except
people.
except for like the most diehard fans who like make documents about like the
Yeah.
games that we play. Like they know who Chai Li and Grun
Yeah,
and
yeah.
those people are.
There is one, I think there's like one unlisted episode somewhere of,
Nice.
No.
Of Immortals.
Is it not?
Please.
If you
It
can
may,
find
not,
it.
it may not exist anymore.
Please.
It may
We're
not
talking
exist
about it.
anymore.
No.
We do have a couple of super chats coming in with donations. These questions are all pretty easy to answer, I think. So we'll answer these three, and then we'll do another kind of round table, and then we'll just keep going.
Sorry,
So
I just want to say that the answer to that question was just kind of not very satisfying because honestly, there wouldn't have been anything crazy that would have happened if there was somebody else who got brought back to
Yeah.
life. It would have just been like, okay, I didn't plan for this. This is weird. You wasted this, and they're gonna leave.
I feel like the only person maybe that wouldn't have left if they were brought back was Mallory, simply because of her connection to Laszlo
yeah,
and Ashkari.
Mallory probably would have
But-
stuck around to like join the fight with Kize and stuff, but like she probably wouldn't do
well, she
anything
would have
else.
been
She would've
relegated
just-
to the position that I gave Vincent and Kira.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She would have
that
just
would've
been like,
been
okay,
cool.
she's helping with the stuff
anyone
you
that
guys
brought
can't
back
do.
would be put in that position where
Yeah,
it's like
it
they're
is.
going to be Avengers Endgame over here.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
As you look at
Where
us
we've got the
in
Fantastic
disappointment,
like
it's like,
7 or
why'd
whatever
you do
right here.
We're like, we want to bring them back. And you're just like,
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and then again, it leads back to that thing of it would have had to have been like a Laszlo being selfish
Yeah, I
moment
did not
or
think
something.
you guys would also bring back Stipples. Like, I just didn't see that happening.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, no,
true. He's with his wife,
no,
right?
He's not being, he would not be Lilia.
So thank you to Joey Herb, Azarian105, and Vault Dweller 604 for
Thanks,
your
guys.
donations.
Thank you so much.
Joey Herb asks, first of, I think it says, I think it's supposed to say, it's like a combination of first of all and y'all. So it says, first of y'all, you are amazing, which I like. You are amazing people who have inspired everything I do in D&D, including my most recent campaign.
Oh,
Thank
damn.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
very nice.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck with that.
Yeah.
Secondly, how do y'all characters feel knowing y'all will go down forever in history? It's pretty crazy.
Phelan's dead.
Wait, how does what?
How does it feel like I think it's maybe more like an in-character question, but also kind of like a you question too, because sometimes I think about that where it's like, man, all of the stuff that we do in these D&D games, like our characters are like actively affecting history throughout the game, and it's very cool. So like, how do y'all feel about that? Because I think it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Kind of a
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where, at least for, maybe not for Ira, but if we're talking specifically Evenfall, like, Core was so unfocused on the world at large and more so focused on the party and her own goals that she wouldn't have bothered to think about it until after the campaign. like, oh, we saved the world. Because let's be honest, when she went to fight Lycus, it was for the party and herself. She wanted to kill him. Like, like she didn't do it to save I don't know, the greater land of Core. So yeah, I don't put a whole lot of thought into it because my characters generally don't. I know.
That's completely fair. When the characters, they go through this and they're just thinking like, I'm just kind of doing what I feel is right, and they're not really thinking, except for maybe Kurt. 'Cause I feel like Kurt thinks about the future a lot.
Kurt is the main character.
According to Kurt.
Yes, according to
There you
Kurt.
go.
And so
The main character memoirs.
I don't know
of
why
Kurt.
everybody kept calling Kurt main character. Is it just because you could interact with the catalysts? That was just.
It was I mean Philip was the real main character.
Yeah.
but I think like
Most screen
Kurt finally found a thing to do, not for themselves. Like they finally found a thing to live for. Like they had been. I thought Kurt was gonna die so many times, and like
He did, and they did.
They did. But I was like, I went into so many. Like I kind of joke around with Jacob that my favorite game to play was like tempt Jacob to kill me this game, and I like every time it was like the Brain Dragon fight was like. I'm completely fine if Kurt falls down this well and completely splatters and is dead. And it's like, no, they're gonna throw a rope on him. I was like, you guys gonna throw a rope on Kurt? I don't know if anyone goes back and watches that footage.
No,
if I'm just going like this the whole time, like, I just want to die, you
what
That
guys.
you
is
were just
true.
like-
You're really constantly
like,
like,
don't.
guys, if I die, it's all right.
Yeah.
And then Kurt's in danger. Kurt gets bloody, and everybody's like, oh, we gotta save Kurt.
Also, I will say, I think the main character thing comes from the fact that if you're looking from the outside, the more grandiose things tended to happen to Philip and to Kurt.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, Lilia too. Lilia literally went to the Fortress of Memories and came back to life. But
And
I think everyone had their moments.
everyone,
to shine.
but that's the thing is everyone had moments. So it's not like,
so
There's not one main character, but there were like big moments of certain characters.
Yeah.
If there's anybody's okay, you're all the main characters. Kia, Stitch, and Cardos were not main characters.
No.
though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keep that in mind.
There's
Yeah,
supporting
that's fair.
cast.
Maybe not even Lamarcia. Lamarcia was almost like an anti-hero, if anything. Like
Yeah.
she was there.
She was like a foil for Philip.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
I
For
felt
sure.
She was
there
an
were
antagonist.
characters
Other.
back then.
Yeah,
She's an
exactly.
antagonist.
Yes.
Yeah. She's just a menace.
I mean, not wrong.
She's just over here like,
I had something I wanted to say, but I forgot now.
Oh, well, if it comes back to you, just
time.
yeah.
Core's
Azarian
name.
105 asks, hey, I know this might be a bit late, but where's Stibbles?
dead.
He's dead.
He's
Stibbles
in
is
the
dead.
first.
I killed him.
Stibbles died. If you're asking where Logan is, Logan's fine
He's
last
dead.
I checked.
No, Logan's
No, he's
very
not.
alive.
Logan's fine.
Logan's still
Yeah,
good.
he's
Logan
somewhere.
moved. He moved to Washington.
He is.
We live in California.
He's very happy.
He's doing fine. He occasionally sends me a meme every week or so,
Yeah.
and then sometimes he messages me at 11 p.m. I can tell he's a little drunk, and he's like, "Tell me everything about your life right now," and I'm like, "All right."
Okay.
We talked for like 2 hours, and he's doing fine.
Vault Dweller 604 asks, this is a Sunder question, maybe you can answer it kind of quickly
Ban.
as with the other one, but it says, at the beginning of Sunder, you introduced a magic item tied to the goddess of man and fire. What would have been created had the Sunder party gathered all the pieces?
Oh,
Shards at the
the
start.
shard, yeah.
Yeah.
Never got finished.
that's in my documents.
Wasn't it like
Okay,
wasn't
if
it
it's gonna,
basically like a
maybe we can
flashlight?
save it for later.
I
but-
also just want to say one last thing. I just want to say one last
World's
thing
first
about Logan.
flashlight.
I do update him with what's going on in the game, and he's always like, "Man, that's so cool!" Like he always thinks that what your guys' characters and what you guys are going through is really, really
That's
cool.
great.
So, and yeah,
Thank you, Logan.
yeah.
Thanks,
It's almost-
Logan.
It's almost his birthday.
It is almost his
Happy
birthday.
Logan's
Logan's birthday is December
Early
11th.
Early
We
birthday.
just keep sliding more and more information
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Logan.
I will look it up. Go on to something else while I look it up.
Hearing the
Well,
word-
the next question I had was for Kurt, but they're not
Well,
here. So let's go into the next round table question.
Oh, let's go.
Somebody asked, and I don't remember where. There's just so many different questions here. Thank you so much for these questions. I am going to get to as many of them as I can. Someone asked, what was the, like, for each person, or maybe we'll all kind of overlap on this one, what was the moment where everyone thought, oh, this is a TPK?
Brain Dragon.
Brain Dragon for sure.
Dragon.
Yeah. That session was
was.
fucking nuts, dude. It was so much fun, though.
Out of
glad.
everything, it was absolutely that Brain Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had
Everything else
so
no.
I just want to let you know I had a lot of fun running that fight too.
That-
Like,
It was
a good
fun.
time.
Well, it was-
but it was fun.
It was, yeah, it was great just to... especially after kicking the ass of those statues and stuff,
Yes.
to then be immediately terrified by this thing. Oh man!
And it was specifically the brain dragon over that.
Over the pit.
The pit.
Yeah, the pit made
the
it
one in the
difficult.
when
we were in Leonaya.
when it attacked Leonaya, that we were like, we're fine. We're
remember
leveled up.
He
We're
had
fine. We'll kill him. But
I would say that for me,
Shut up.
it would
That's a
actually
Marshall
probably have been.
I think I wrote it.
It would probably have been the Lycus fight, because I remember we went into break after the second phase, and I remember looking at you as soon as we went to break. I went, "All right, Jack, I believe now. I believe we can do
Yeah,
this."
Colton was freaking terrified. Colton was like, "We're not gonna make it." I'm like, "Colton, it'll be fine." And Colton, then it took Colton 2 freaking phases.
After the second phase, I was like, "I believe we can win this."
Jordan, the question was like, what moment did you think there was going to be a TPK?
And
a
everybody
lot of us
agreed
said
it
the
was
brain
the brain
dragon in the cave when everyone had a life-changing moment.
Yeah, I mean that. So I thought I mean, Jacob kept telling us, "You guys, I am like if Lycus kills you, like that could happen." So I was like, "Man, we might fucking die. Some of us might." And I thought, but then we were fought like Tiamat before that. I was like, some of us have to drop during a dragon god
I was
fight.
really concerned. I was really concerned going into the
just
Tiamat
that
fight
good.
too.
So like super worried all throughout, and then it was like, wow, we're actually pulling this off. This is kind of
When we
incredible.
go into like boss fights, I always expect that maybe someone will go unconscious, die maybe if it goes poorly, if multiple people happen. A full-blown TPK for me, I think, is rare.
We put all 6 brain cells together during the boss fight.
Yes.
I will say we.
Which is
I
why,
think-
to me, the brain dragon, I was like,
Yeah.
that's the
We
closest we
didn't
got to a TPK.
expect to fight the brain dragon.
We were
Yeah,
expecting
we
to fight
were,
the brain
yeah.
dragon. It was
We
in a
couldn't,
very...
we couldn't align the brain cells.
We were literally in a very disadvantaged position in that thing because we couldn't fly, we couldn't see shit.
We had a
And
fight or
There
flight.
was so much
Philip-
bullshit going. We were separated.
Philip
Yeah.
did the math that like, or not. Kia did the math. There was no number she or I could roll that would
Yeah,
beat
it had-
Yeah.
it had to
the
be-
target
it-
number.
It had to be
Yeah.
natural.
It
It had to be
Yeah.
a natch 20 every
That, you
time,
know.
and so we were just
No, it
forced.
had to be
Forced us to.
It had to be a natural 20 right next to you, or I could not succeed.
And we were together for
Yes.
for most of the thing. Yeah, that was crazy. Just all of us getting
for the
split
fear.
up was one thing, and you know, Laszlo having no spell slots, no healing enough to save Kia. And it's like, where's the freaking
It
cleric
was
when I
dead.
need them?
It was
And
to
then
the
they
point
were
where,
fucking dead.
I was unconscious. You were dragging me.
Oh
you
my
were
God.
falling off of a cliff.
Uh,
You had
Stitch-
them on a rope,
Stitch
and you
never
were just
got hit
plummeting.
that entire combat.
Stibbles Jr.
Stitch was never
and then
hit.
Tyrion was
oranges.
quickly just picked
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
tossed.
And that's what I mean when I say
Get
I
out of
was.
there.
That's what I mean when I
Good
say I
for
was the king of utility when I played Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
He was not touched that entire combat.
Yeah.
Because he never
Unconscious
bothered the dragon.
mid-fall.
God.
I had
Yeah.
prepared for the
Oh, yeah.
boots of levitation.
I
was
loved that
"That's
game
fine."
so much.
And
That
when
was
I
a
got
fun
unconscious,
session.
like,
That
oh,
was a
shit.
crazy
That's definitely in my top 5, like all the games we played.
I told Jacob, because he was saying that the dice he were rolling were rolling super low, and I said, Divine Intervention needs to roll low. I said, fucking do it. And it happened.
Yeah.
It was the only time.
So-
the grass fight was also very scary for myself.
Oh yeah,
To
the
the
Grots
point
fight
where I
was
looked
nuts.
at Mia
That was
just
a tough
shaking
one.
because I knew I was like, I'm gonna fail that fucking save.
That's why I was preparing you guys so much for Lycus and kept like really honing in that like Lycus is going to be hard. Not because, you know, I was trying to kill you guys, but because the Brain Dragon fight and the Grotz fight were like much harder than I had expected them to be. So I was like, I want you guys to be prepared that this is going to be hard. And it was good because you guys whooped his ass, and I liked that. That was
The
great.
baby gloves.
Yeah,
It was
and then when I
baby
did that
gloves.
ready
But it
like
was still,
explosion of radiant
it was
damage,
still
you guys
scary
were
in
like,
its own right.
ow.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that
It went
frickin-
over better, you know.
That freaking thing where it's like if you move, you take damage. That was nuts.
That was nuts. That
all of
was-
us were like,
Well,
pants
part-
ground.
I think I think part of it though
Yeah.
is that we weren't understanding how that will
Yeah, a lot of
so
it-
like we're just gonna stay still.
yeah.
It was
And that
you could
got us
move
into bad
closer to
position.
each other. The idea was that it was to force you guys to get closer to one another,
So then he
so
could-
that he could AOE you.
Yeah.
And that was the entire. It was also I was stealing a little bit from the Lich stat block because they get a legendary action where they can tether somebody to them with like a lightning tether, and then they can whenever the Lich takes damage, they take half the damage. So it's like a warding bond. Yeah, and I was like, I kind of want to do something
Reverse
similar
warding
to that, where like Lycus can tether people together. Oh, it could be like a constellation sort of idea, and then it'll also make it so that if they're moving away from one another because they love to spread out, then it'll be hard.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah,
It's one of our tactics.
a lot of different scary combats.
Those are the big ones. There were a lot of like lower level. The first fight.
Oh yeah, the very first fight.
Oh, true.
Yeah, again, never intended for that to be hard, and you guys were like, "Oops," and I was like,
Well, we
so
ended
that's
up
why the whole game. I'm like, guys, Lycus is hard. Okay, it's gonna be a hard fight.
That was actually
Yeah,
that was actually still. It's funny because when I go back, that's still one of my favorite moments in the game because I mean I've said it before that number one, Lilia immediately was Lilia.
Yeah, of course it was
but though Core has a particular affinity for everyone in the party, I've said before that like her closest friend was Phelan, and then that first combat, Phelan went unconscious and Core dragged him out, and so it was like from the very beginning.
Tyler
they were
wins
all-
that combat.
Tyler
I
being like,
love
"I'm going
that
to
part
go
where
with it."
you're like, Lilia stops and turns her head as if she's listening to something, and then Logan goes,
Common sense.
All right. Let's move on.
I don't know if you
last thought.
If you go back to that very first episode, you can see leading up to that moment where Lilia goes in. You can see me going like this. 'Cause I'm like thinking in my head, what is Lilia gonna do here? Oh my God, she's gonna be a fucking dumbass.
somebody hold me back.
I'm like, I'm literally,
Somebody stop.
I'm going to do the dumbest shit in here,
Meanwhile,
and you guys are
Jacob-
gonna be so like,
Jacob
why?
is sitting in the corner as a DM, like, please don't make me kill your character in the first 10 minutes. Please don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got another couple of questions that Jacob could probably answer, and then it's just like 2 or 3.
Sounds good.
And then we'll do another round table.
Sounds good.
So Jacob, where is it? Caleb Boer asks, the characterization of the Raven Queen in this game was interesting. What's with the change in tone for her part in this story?
The change in tone? Like the change in how I made her look?
No, I think
know.
what they mean is that the Raven Queen as written is different. I don't know how the Raven Queen
I
is
just
written is different.
interpreted the
but-
Raven Queen differently. I just know that the Raven Queen's very popular, and there's a lot of interpretations of her. Much like Critical Role is kind of the one I think everybody thinks of, which is that porcelain mask with all the raven feathers. And my interpretation of the Raven Queen is that she is somebody who went who fucked up their spell to become a god, or to help all the elves, became this god of death, and their mind was addled in the process, and unwillingly became this being who leads people to death. All of it unwilling. Like, she didn't choose any of this, but she doesn't have a choice in it either. She's more of a construct and more of a being and an idea than she is a person. And what happens to her, in my mind, and why she associates with ravens, is because ravens are notorious for their mimicry. They're also their association with death, but in my mind, they're mimicry. And in my idea of the Raven Queen is that she mimics all of the souls that she takes and pushes onto the afterlife, because she's trying to grasp on to her lost humanity. She lost who she was. She's now in this position that she can't control. She is forced to perpetuate this monotonous cycle. The only thing she wants is to be complete again, and the only way she can get it is by obsessing over these personalities, these people that she only gets to see for a moment until they're gone, and she takes on parts of them, and then and continues. So she is an amalgamation of everybody that has ever died. And that's why whenever she would appear, she never appeared as herself. She would appear as somebody else, because that's the only way she can manifest, is what she's seen in the past. So when she talked to you that first time, she was Stibbles, and then I think she was Kurt at one point, because Kurt was like dying, and then she was like, "Oh, I have a piece of this. I am kind of Kurt right now." So that was my
has died, so potentially she could have just grabbed the little.
Well,
Kurt
yeah,
from there.
exactly. And then my idea behind it was that because of Lilia's family and her history, that she had really obsessed over yours. And my idea was that Lilia and her, maybe in life, were very similar. And she was like, "This is the closest I've ever been to being like a person. I'm going to control this person." And so, yeah, that was it. That's just my idea of who the Raven Queen is.
Cool.
And that's why I didn't want you to talk to her, because she's not like a lady. She's like, "Hello, Raven Queen," and then it's like the angelic, the realistic biblical angels. It's like, okay, that was every person ever. Let's leave.
Next question. This one kind of applies to everyone else because there's an opinion kind of attached to it. Is Jacob, what inspired you for the special buff surge things at the Tiamat fight? And how did you, as the party, so all of us, enjoy these abilities?
I will be very quick with mine because I want everybody else to talk. But I wanted three things. I wanted to give you guys something cool to use against Lycus. I wanted to give you guys something cool for beating Tiamat, and I wanted to give you guys some cool roleplay stuff to do while you were fighting Tiamat. That's kind of it. Yeah. And a big reason for the first one was I wanted to give everybody the ability to at least have the chance to fly during the Lycus fight. That was it.
Yeah. I thought they were really cool.
Thanks.
And I appreciate that you attached... there was another question, but that kind of ties into this one that is another one that we can all kind of answer. But you gave us, these, in case anybody didn't know, I think Jacob kind of went over it at the beginning of that session, but he gave us all each some individual goals to meet during the combat, and once those prerequisites were met, we would gain that dragon aspect, and it was really cool.
There's something I just wanted you guys to do during the combat that could also fuel like some character options choices, and also without just being like, okay, let's fight the big thing,
Yeah.
I think so often D&D can boil down to math, and I liked the cards because it made all of our characters feel and our motivations feel more personal. I liked the dragon stuff because it gave us all kind of like, all right, what do I have to do in this fight? And if you just threw us in a fight with Tiamat, like, who knows what would have happened, but we all had certain things we had to do. And then you rewarded us for role-playing those things. I think that's one of your strengths as a DM, is making everyone's characters personalized and then allowing them to have these pretty OP but awesome abilities, like the pitching both of those coins. I got both of those coins from Kurt's card. And then the zapping from 0 to 40 hit points saved Kurt's bacon twice in the Lycus fight.
Thanks,
and so
I really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot.
Yeah.
With this campaign, I just wanted you guys to feel cool.
Well, that ties into the other question I was going to ask, and this kind of applies to everyone because I kind of know the answer is the tarot cards. Like, what was the inspiration for it, and why did everyone choose the tarot cards that they chose?
My thing, which is quick, I looked at your tarot card abilities. I looked at what your character, not what they can do, but what your character wants to do.
When you say abilities, do you mean like the properties associated with each tarot card?
Each thing that you guys got, what it was a combination of what your character either wants to do, is good at doing, and fits in theme with the idealisms behind your tarot card, and that was it.
And we each chose our own.
Yeah, you guys chose them. I didn't pick them.
Yeah. Does everyone want to go into quickly why they chose the ones that they did for their individual characters?
Why's Phelan death?
Because it's funny.
Fair enough.
Because the initial shock of hearing somebody pick death, and it's an omen, but that's the initial thought process. Your death actually in a tarot card always means change. It's not a bad card. It just means that you are learning how to move on. When it's reversed, it means you're stuck and you don't know how to get out. So that's why I picked that character, because I always wanted him to grow, and he needed to learn how to move on, because for a while he probably would have been able to be considered death reversed. But once he moved on, he was able to fully change.
And that's why the main ability that you had was focused around like your sword sort of changing and gaining new abilities, because Phelan is constantly learning.
Mine, I looked into the different major arcana and really looked at what they meant, and my judgment just made a whole lot of sense. Self-evaluation, upright, it's self-evaluation, awakening, renewal, purpose, reflection, reckoning, all things that would go with like trying to learn to be yourself. While in reversed, it's like self-doubt, lack of self-awareness, failure to learn lessons, self-loathing.
Yeah.
All of that fits
Very
with like Lilia's personality.
Yeah. And
And also just the art by itself. If you look at the base art, the most well-known art for of tarot, the art of judgment is like because it's like figures that are like being looking up for like towards like angels in the sky, and again
That's cool.
going along with like Lilia being a kind of both following this higher being or being having to take things from a higher being, but then also her being an Azamar. Kind of
Yeah, the
fits into
D&D
same
one's
thing.
really cool. It's over there, and it's
Yep.
it's
And
like
it looks
like holy, and there's like an
Yeah.
angel behind them. It's really cool. By the way, I don't know if you guys knew this, but when Spencer was making this,
Yeah.
the tarot. I don't know if you guys can see. You guys can't see it, but we have a door that goes into like the mini room, and it's got tarot cards all over it with the D&D ones. There's a stripe in the middle, and it's all of our characters. So it's
Oh, cool.
It's Hermit, Emperor, Ace, Fool, Justice, High Priestess, Strength, Death, Judgment, Wheel of Fortune, and Chariot,
Nice. That's cool.
which is perfectly every character.
Yeah.
Real quick for me, mine was the Hermit for core. And I think it, like, at face value, I picked it just for the name of it. It makes sense for her entire shtick. But then also, if you dig into it a little bit, its keywords are soul searching, introspection, being alone, and inner guidance. And reversed is isolation, loneliness, and withdrawal. And so Hermit is all about like not knowing what's to come, and instead taking those steps one at a time to reveal the path before you. And I felt like that was very fitting, given that, again, her whole thing was that she left with nothing but a goal and no idea how to get there. But she believed that the path would be revealed to her as she took those steps, which is very in line with the tarot card.
Jordan?
Kurt is the Page of Wands.
The only
sorry,
non-major
yeah.
arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you then ended up changing to Ace, didn't you?
I think I did.
Yeah.
Turned into
But
one.
sorry, I wanted to pause you just because I remembered something. I don't want to forget it. That's why you had that ability that required you to be away from party members. It was following the ideology of the hermit, where you needed to be by yourself. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I initially picked Page of Wands for its inspiration, ideas, discovery, newly formed ideas, redirecting energy. Kurt was very crazy, and then let's find Ace.
You could have been the star, now that I think about it.
Is Ace of
That was all
Wands
about positive energy.
Maybe I know that when I made your card, I based it off of Ace.
and then Ace of Wands, inspiration, new opportunities, growth, potential, and emerging idea, lack of direction, distractions. So like that, there are. It's a very shiny new object, Kurt. In the good sense, new things, new opportunities. In the bad sense, being distracted by those new opportunities.
Yeah.
So.
Never forget Concrete Jack.
Concrete Jack.
Spencer?
Philip is Justice and Lamarcy is Strength. And a funny thing about those cards is Justice is the 8th card and Strength is the 11th card. But in some decks, they're swapped. So I thought that was
That's
Whoa.
And then
What a neat little bit of trivia
That's
there.
so cool.
yeah, and then they're both just really fitting for the characters as well. And then
Kia's the
Kia
lovers.
was the High Priestess.
I thought it was the lovers.
No, I was gonna do the lovers, and then I decided that the High Priestess. But
Very fitting.
Lycus is the star. Anyways.
Wow, what a thought.
Wow,
Who would
what a
have
shot.
thought?
Yeah.
Not the Emperor.
Yeah, who's the Emperor?
Cardos.
Cardos.
Oh, that's right. Did you choose the Emperor for Cardos?
I did.
Cool.
Little fun bit of trivia as well. There is an episode, the episode where you guys fight the vampire lady and the heart of the immortal gets exploded.
Yep.
Hang
Isaac's
on.
mom.
Yes.
Sorry, Isaac.
Mom's like,
And you guys are going
He was
through
actually
that.
pretty chill about it, though.
You guys are going through that that like fortress that has all of the all of the people in them that you were like freeing. Yeah. I named that episode "The Tower" because I felt that it felt the tarot card of the Tower, which is sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, awakening, and reversed. It's personal transformation, fear of change, averting disaster.
Didn't you also name the episode where Cardos?
When something really cool
Didn't you
happened
name it
with
Emperor?
each character, I tended to name it after each one. So the one with Tiamat, I think I named whatever I thought hers kind of fit into, and I forget what it was. Tativolis as well. I named that one the Devil, I think.
Nice.
And then I think the one with Lycus is just called the Star. And then I named with the episode where Stibbles dies is called the Fool.
And the
That's
one where
cool.
because he was
Nice
he was the
touch.
fool.
one where
I
Cardos brings
think I
back
named
Tiamat.
one something with the chariot, maybe
Is
with
there?
Laszlo. I know I named
remember
one
I don't really pay attention to
judgment.
episode names,
I know I named one death. Yeah, I think I got one for everybody. I can't remember. I'll have to go back through the playlist. But
It's funny you mentioned the tower because that was originally the one I wanted to do for Laszlo.
Interesting.
And we had a conversation about it because I was like, I want to do the tower because Laszlo's at a point where the life that he had with Ashkari has completely fallen apart, and the tower is like the worst tarot card you could draw. It's like calamity. It's bad things happening. And I was like, I want Laszlo to kind of, have all this terrible shit happen to him, and now he's got to deal with it. And Jacob was like, I don't really know if that fits for Laszlo. Like, I think maybe something. I think it was you who suggested the chariot, and I read it, and I was like, yeah, no, that could work. And ultimately, I think it ended up working better than the tower did.
Yeah.
I went to Colton and I was like, oh yeah, does Stitch have like a tarot card associated with them? And he was like, Wheel of Fortune. And I was like, all right.
I think in the tarot, since the tower is such a harbinger and just an omen, it'd be very hard to make a good character. Like
Yeah.
a
I think
not
that's
a,
why
like,
it was
a
like
fun
Laszlo's gonna be
character.
like somebody who's there to help them, and it's like
Yeah.
he's associated with with an omen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went onto the playlist just to
Yeah,
see. The one I believe where Stibbles dies is Bravery of the Fool.
There you
That's
go.
the Fool.
That's
there you
cool.
go.
Yeah.
There's also the Magician is one.
That is a Elisar.
Oh, yes.
I'm kind of just looking through.
Little fun fact while they're looking through that. Stitch never got his card because
Because he's just a guy.
No, you messaged me about. You talked to me about this
That's
later.
right.
That we all had to answer those things, the riddles in the Fortress of Memories.
Fortress of Memories,
And
yeah.
the options. I don't know what one option was, but
You guys
it
like
was.
saw visions of
It
yourself.
was he's overcome by something, or he was overcome by greed, and I picked greed, and that was why he didn't get his card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be like, oh, he's turning a new leaf and being a better person, or giving into what he is.
Yeah.
Given.
Which is just fitting because he wasn't.
he didn't need a card.
He also wasn't part of the prophecy.
Yeah, he didn't need a card.
Like, he helped, but he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna defeat Lycus or anything.
So we had 3 in a row: the Devil, Death, and Emperor.
The devil is Titivolus. Death is Phelan killing Cimerius. The Emperor is Cardos
Cardos
sacrificing for
back.
Tiamat.
It's a
Yeah.
very
That's cool. 3
one
in a
after
row.
another. The Hanged Man.
That Hanged Man.
It came after Detachment and before By Blood and Oath.
By blood and oath. Fucking hell. I don't remember what that one is.
This is pre-Avenant.
This is before Shadowfell arc.
Yes.
This is after. This is
Yeah,
after
after
Cimerius is
Cimerius.
killed.
Yes. Far after.
Is the hangman when Kyria dies?
Could be. Here. Let's see. See if we can see.
It would have to be when we were in the Underdark.
It might be when Vincent
can-
comes back.
No, because Core was already
I
back.
don't
at
think
that
it's the
point.
Brain Dragon episode.
It's when we meet Philip again in the prison.
Oh.
That makes
I'm the
sense.
hanged man.
Guess so.
Because
I don't know why I named it
went
that.
onto it and that's it.
Don't remember. I just named it that.
There's probably
There's
some.
probably
There's probably a reason.
Some deep lore.
There's Justice,
Justice was when you guys fought Grotz.
All I can
Empress,
think of is
Empress
Overwatch.
was Tiamat.
Ace of Swords.
Ace of Swords.
Which episode is that?
That's 55.
Is that
That's
So if it was after we fought Team
4 episodes before that?
That's the war
not
episode.
even
No.
That's the
think
war
That's
episode.
the war episode.
I named it that because
Yes.
it was war
war episode, and then
fight.
and then it was us going through
Lycus's
Lycus's
castle.
castle,
Yeah.
and then the fight with Lycus.
Lycus made
Which
Those
I don't
are-
know if I've named that last episode.
No,
yet.
you have not.
Well, it's supposed to be the star.
There you go.
Name it.
Great.
A little bit of tidbit.
So we're gonna take a break after this next roundtable question.
Indeed.
I don't know. Feel like we might want to come back. Do you
Yeah.
want to come back?
I'm
You
down.
wanna do
I'm
that?
down.
Okay, cool.
Jordan might have to leave, but
were-
you know what,
yeah.
Jordan?
Oh,
I really appreciate
yeah,
what you
first,
said.
in case you do, there was the question: what happened to Kurt's son, Catalyst? People have been
He
asking
said
that.
Son. I was like,
Oh,
Stibbles.
Stibbles.
Another one?
They might have had a. I don't know.
Oh, the one that.
Oh
The one that could turn the
They ate it.
sun on.
You know what? Stibbles Jr. probably
Yeah.
kept it and was
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know
true.
what?
I have the
Kurt,
sun.
I'm sorry, but I have to hold on to this for all my brethren. I can't let this go down again, and I'm gonna hold on to it. It was probably
Like,
something like
you're
that.
probably the most rational person to give it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone who literally needs it, as opposed to just wants the power. You know, yeah. So, but I think this is a good question that was asked by, who was it? It was asked a little while back.
And no, it was not sent into like the far round.
You know,
That would have been really funny.
It was given to the little lad.
I don't remember who asked it, but I thought it was a great question. For everybody, what was something or multiple somethings that somebody else did that wasn't your character, wasn't you, it was someone else? What was something that somebody else did that you thought was really cool?
I have too many. You guys answer it.
Well, you're the DM, of
Someone
course you have
else
too
did.
many.
Yeah, I'm gonna say anything any of the characters did was something someone else did.
I mean, honestly, like, because I wasn't really a part of this campaign until halfway through it, but I did watch it, and I gotta say, you know, Cardos fucking embracing Tiamat, objectively,
Very
like,
cool.
and you know, morally bad, but like from a story standpoint, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it when characters who are a little more evil aligned, not necessarily evil, but are capable of great evil, do embrace that. I think, you know, it's bad, of course, personally, but like, but it's really interesting to watch in a story.
Character growth doesn't always have to be positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll say, on the flip side of that, Laszlo giving up part
Oh,
of
well.
like himself and his connection to the keeper in order to save a party member was kind of like,
Yeah, well,
shit,
yeah.
man.
Well, I mean, I think I've talked about this moment a lot, but it's like I knew I had to do something crazy to get, because I know Jacob well enough that like Jacob, just because it's Spencer's character, Jacob's not going to show mercy in this particular moment. And I knew that, like, okay, if I'm gonna save Kia, I've got to do something that's gonna get
Can I
Jacob's
just say,
attention.
just touching on that for a second, if there's anybody out there, because it's been mentioned a few times, I don't know, maybe by you guys as jokes or just in general, that I'm easy on her or I protect her. Guys, I need you to understand that I'm
No,
not.
it's the other way
I
around.
try. She is asking. She's like, "Why don't you attack me?" And I'm like, "You bitch, I do. You are just really good at this game. She's really good at this game, and the best thing, I need to make a video about this. But if you want your character to live, if you never want your character to die in a D&D game, like you're like, man, I just want this character to live really badly, and you're afraid that you're going to die, like maybe you've been playing a lot of Colton characters, you've been dying recently, what you need to do, the ultimate strat, is the Spencer strat, which is get everyone to really like you, and then they will go fucking head over heels to make sure you live. They will cast Death Ward on you secretly before you think you're going to die, and then you'll be fine.
And I will say, as the DM for Avnia, you are rarely ever targeted either, and that's I'm not intentionally trying not to. It's just
I just
you
realized
just don't make yourself
When Thorin
reason
takes that
why
hit point of
I remained
damage,
the
I'm
whole
like,
way was
I gotta go
because-
save them.
And then
Ari.
the enemy target is now on you. Because now you're the bad guy in the
Thorin was
face.
protected by everybody.
Yeah.
Like, Kazira was maybe the only one who kind of, like, wasn't. But even then, he had
And-
so many hit points. Like, he was just really good at staying alive.
This isn't the
Great
question. This
positioning.
isn't the question.
I'm just saying, I try to kill her.
I don't have one that is a cool moment, but one that always makes me laugh when I think about it is that time that Stibbles stole that diamond from that noble in town and then crawled underneath Philip's house and under the floorboard.
It was just a funny thing Logan wanted to do, and then you guys started having a serious conversation
was
about
just
Lilia's
like-
backstory, and then he was like, I'm still under the floorboard. And you guys are like, I'm just a monster. And Sybil's like, you're not a monster. You're like, what the fuck?
Thank you, thank you, Telltale Heart Man. Another crazy moment for me that is always just like poo chills is Phelan confronting Cardos in the Tiamat fight.
I was gonna say that too, yeah.
There's a really
Yeah,
cool
that is really
animation
good.
somebody did in the Discord.
It is very
We've
good.
all watched it. And we all think it's pretty awesome, but that was crazy.
Every moment that's been mentioned, yeah, obviously, but to use my turn to bring something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was bowled away when Spencer and and Logan did the death of Stibbles.
Yeah, that was that was heavy.
Having directed you in a play before, like
God.
the acting, like being in that moment was just like it's incredible.
Yeah.
When Lilia
Yeah, very
decided to
good.
come back as a human being, because we went a week, we went from not knowing to a whole
Yeah.
week of going, what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
then coming
Tyler
back.
was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know,
Yeah.
and so I was glad that Jacob offered. Let's call it here and let's just
Give it a week.
And so he and I like talked about, it, and I pretty quickly figured out what I wanted, but I didn't know how exactly it was going to come
Yeah,
until.
just watching Lilia blossom into who she has become was just so awesome.
It was funny because Philip left and was like, "Oh, I've been teaching this little girl how to swim, and she's so quiet." And then he comes back and he's like, "What happened?"
The glow up is real. Yeah.
She talks and I can hear her.
I will say with Lilia, I did very intentionally over time as things changed with her. I did try to make that manifest in how I played her. Just her personality changed from quiet, whispering, stuttering to what you said to what happened afterwards, where what should have been her original personality kind of started becoming
came into her own.
a little bit of a gremlin sometimes.
Yeah, but it was fun to watch,
That's the thing,
as opposed to the reserved. And, that had merit. And, I feel like of all the characters, I think Lilia probably had one of the strongest arcs, or the most obvious one at least.
I want to say it's more or less like there was like a couple of big character moments for her, but a lot of her character growth was over time. It was kind of in the
most
background.
prolonged,
It was prolonged.
Yeah.
And then, of course, not to leave Kurt out of
Yeah.
it. Kurt.
Oh, well,
Kurt
Kurt does a cool thing every other
Kurt
session.
sinking a portion of Leonia.
Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah,
I am
and,
actually in favor of Kurt facing their father.
Yeah.
That was good,
a
too.
good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Kurt
think
burning the painting.
Yeah.
Our,
And then
our-
they're
Very
like,
good.
"Those fuckers are over."
our
They're
our moment
babies.
in the Tiamat fight where we were like sticking close together and like we had the warding bond going, and when we got bucked off of Tiamat, we were just in range enough to keep warding bond up. Oh man, that was nuts. And
When Stitch
and your
fell,
and your steel wind strike on Tiamat, holy shit, that was crazy. That was
when
oh,
Stitch
man.
fell like 10 stories and then came back to life. Stitch fell, got a failed
man.
death save, and then rolled a 20 and was like,
Yeah.
I'm alive. That's the patron name Gravity is the best defibrillator.
I know.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, those are some of our favorite Evenfall moments. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
you all have some of your own. Feel free to share them in the chat if you want or on the comments of this video. But we are going to take a quick break of 10 or 15 minutes so we can, hydrate,
got
take a
patrons for
bio
you.
break. Great. But first, we have so many patrons
Patrons.
here that
Beautiful, wonderful patrons.
wonderful patrons
You know
who
what you guys just got? You all just paid for the new Fallout art.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
There we
great.
go.
Has it been revealed yet?
Oh,
Or-
yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Have we shown you
that's
yours?
your money at work. Oh yeah, I've seen mine. Yeah.
Have we shown yours off?
No, I don't think
we
so.
need to.
I have our
Well, Jack has
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
come back.
I have to
and
come
play
back.
the
Come back and
game.
play.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's
yep.
great. I love it. Gabe fucking killed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I gave Gabe specific directions and he followed, which is great. Gabe is great. Go commission
The filters
Gabe,
are
guys.
already applied, so
Yeah,
just that's the
perfect.
list.
Okay. I may need your help figuring out how to scroll down again. Never mind,
it's
I figured it
two
out. I got it.
fingers
I got
up.
it.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, patrons, particularly Ben H, Mr. House's Feet Pick Collection, Joshua Massey, Rory Sinclair, Shista, Rob the Kentuckian Bourbon, Cy the Owl, Sandman, Hemlock Tea, Coops, Ethan Inch, Wow Wow Wee Wow.
Wow.
David Lee, Stealthy Recoil, Pepper JK, Austin Stool, Cultist Oddish, Catlin Rose, Icewind Dale Speedrun Maidenless Percent, King Fireball _2003, The Mango Fruit. I love you guys so fucking much, and I'm so excited for new stories. Also, Sunder, Season 1, Episode 9.
Love you too.
Redbeard, One Sack, One Load. I had a funny name for this, but I forgore, so please just laugh so I feel good. You're hilarious. Chris G, Majestic Whaleacorn. Whaleacorn sounds like a creature from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It
does.
does, yeah.
Very nice. Kingsport was delicious. Insert funny name for Jacob to read here. Joke's on you. Small Town I Care, The Pinky Life, Pure Osmium, Ajax and the Cult of Kurt Fan Club. Next up on Arcane Arcade, Wild and bitch fight.
Hell yeah.
Bob said hi, who made his name overly long just to make the cast read it for no reason other than his own amusement. Reptilian Daedra, the most important question is what happened to my boys Turk and Fee? We'll get back to you on that. The Diabetes, Mystical Combat, Venus, Chris Cliff, Certified Chalky Milk Addict, Big Haas, Scape the Goat, Augusta Ada King, Countess of Lovelace, Heapen Schmeats. That's funny. Jacob, Spencer, and Marceline, I hope your first holiday season as a, quote, full family is merry, bright, and full
We're
of nat 20s. Thor.
so excited.
Thank you, Thor. Dormammu welcomes you to another exciting episode of Fallout Zero. Today, the 23s get another slave. I mean, NPC. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what happened. I haven't been watching
Not
that
slave.
one.
We freed him.
We did not pay.
technically.
Yeah.
Argus Fallen, Alice Lilybottom, Shuriken Sean, mutated 76 players super jumping across the mute wasteland in the distance.
Sounds about right.
Barden, but I'm busy catching up thanks to work, so I have to let you know how cool y'all are. Thanks for creating such an awesome space.
Love you, Barden.
Duncan York. Zach doing the Paige challenge. Take a shot every time she nearly dies. If I'm still alive, it's because I'm not Colton's character. Dub Mill. It's almost time to move Evenfall from spoiler discussion to completed series discussion. That needs to happen tonight, I
It's
think.
today, yeah.
Res Storm, Miro Stall, Notorious Thief, Mimi H, Pimpin' to Hood, Mama Love and Papa Joy, Josh Travis, and deep down, we're all ripe with Kingsport.
Deep down, we are. We are indeed. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in a few minutes.
Yes, we will. We are back, friends.
I'm back.
To the Evenfall Q&A.
The Evenfall
Why am I alone?
The
Discord. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, we had to.
Jordan got sleepy tired, and Colton's eating.
Yeah,
Sleepy
Jordan
tired.
had to go, and Colton is currently eating.
Jordan has like a wife or something, and
Yeah.
He has a life.
Yeah.
a wife and a life.
And we already answered a lot of Kurt
We
questions,
don't.
and that was kind of
I
why
don't have
we
a wife.
asked so
You
many
don't have a
Kurt
wife.
questions in the first
in
half.
the Discord, I have also archived the Evenfall chat
Rip.
and put the new one in the completed series discussion.
It's been
So
done.
it really
It is done.
that ship has sailed.
So we were all just talking about how fun this was to kind of send off the game.
Yeah.
To kind of reveal all the secrets, talk about what ifs and all that. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do
This
it.
has been
for,
really fun.
Yeah, we're gonna
I've
do it
loved
for
this.
we're gonna do it for a little while longer, folks.
Yes.
So keep those questions coming. I'm gonna scroll back up in the chat and
There
do
you
my
go.
best
I get
to
some
find
feedback.
things that haven't already been
this,
answered
this
yet.
has just been cool because there's so many things I realized we just didn't get to talk about, like even
Yeah.
that I didn't get to tell you guys. Like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Somebody asked, Jacob, that's a good point. Somebody asked, what are some things that you established early on that eventually you were like, I don't think I can fit this in, or I don't think this is going to work, so I'm
A
just going
lot
to
of
take it
stuff.
out. Is there any that stick out in your mind
well,
in particular?
it's hard because I have to remember them.
Sure.
But there are some things that, like, obviously Isaac is one of them. Like, it just, because honestly, Isaac became not very important because Core died.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, his whole thing was just kind of useless, so I just didn't have a place for him anymore. I don't know, a lot of stuff that I wanted to happen happened.
Well, I think your kind of DMing style is a lot of you have like things that you want to happen, like big points, but then you kind of just let us figure out. The
I guess
connecting
there was
points.
sort of this idea that you guys would learn about, well, maybe not even. Like, I had thrown in a little bit of Sunder lore in there when you guys had done the Pry Barrow arc, and the Wanted Wanderers were there. Like, I had planned on, like, maybe that being a thing you guys solved, but ended up not really happening. And then,
I felt like Kize was planned to be a much bigger part.
Kize was definitely
hunters
supposed to
and all
be an arc was supposed to take place there. And then it wasn't that you guys didn't stay there for very long. Well, it was that. We guys were there, and then immediately I wanted to push the tension up because it wasn't, like, safe for you guys to be here. I don't think I expected you guys to just leave. I was like, oh shoot, I pushed them too far. Not really what I wanted. Oh well, this is kind of just going to be underdeveloped and be the city where Lycus is from, which I'm okay with that.
It was a
being
bummer
that.
because I felt like Kize was if it had the chance to be, it could have been like the anchor.
Yeah.
Of like the kind of
We ended
the
up focusing
story.
more on Leonia. Like,
Yeah.
I had planned on
Yeah.
Kize kind of being Leonia, and then we sort of just gravitated towards Leonia a little more, and I was like, this
It's
is
a
fine.
cool fucking place,
I
man.
know,
It's cool.
yeah, and it was a good base of operations too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to
You guys
have
felt
a
safe
hub.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
know?
hub.
Yeah, having a hub.
I had planned on giving you guys a hub in Kize, but I immediately made it dangerous, and it was
Yeah.
like, well, okay, this.
But now it's
this
no
makes
longer
sense.
a
And it's
base
like,
of operations.
you know, that's only where because I could see where in some of the chat, like if you look far enough, sorry, our personal chat, guys, it's nowhere in any of our chats.
Yeah, sorry.
There's stuff like prepping for it, or even like just things that you'd kind of thrown out there, and it was like, oh, clearly we're supposed to be in Kize. There was stuff going to happen.
That's just
and
a
it
DM thing
yeah.
on my side. I think big cities are really confusing, and I think that it is really hard. It's a big ask of the DM to go, hey guys, I need you to imagine a big city. And then also all of the nuance and all of the tiny details and
Yeah.
all of the busy streets, the thousands of people that live here, everything that could possibly exist within a city. I need you to imagine that exactly how I'm trying to tell you it is.
Yeah.
And so that's why whenever you guys tend to go to cities that are really big, I try to give you guys a lot of prep material to be like, this is what this is like. Because in the past I've had issues where we get to cities and then it's not at all what anybody thought, and it's frustrating because I have a thing I want to do and then it doesn't get translated correctly. So yeah, I think I was fine with how much we did of Kize. It's just me as a DM, I struggle with them a lot because like this is like the center of populace. There should be so much here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't figure out all of it, but I want to figure out most of it so that it feels alive.
Yeah.
You wanted it to kind of be like a Waterdeep or a Sharn kind of place.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want you guys to spend too much time there, but also I wanted it to feel like it was established. I wanted it to
It
feel like...
felt very unique compared to a lot of the other places
Good.
they'd been to.
Yeah, that's
So-
that. Well, that's good. That's all I needed it
Yeah,
to be.
and it was really like if we had kind of weren't kind of scared out of there, I think it would have been a good place to have been able to come back to or like spend a couple. And it's literally more of like I could have seen what you had like machinations for, and it just never came to fruition because that's just
Yeah.
how D&D is.
It's
So it's a
isn't it?
bummer of knowing like all of that was there like for us to have somewhat interacted with, and we just never got the chance to.
It's all right.
And I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, it's okay. It's just like, it is a bummer because I love the exploration aspect of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I love the kind of learning about lore and stuff like that. So it was like, oh, you could tell Keys they had a lot of stuff. You dropped a whole bunch of names. And I'm furiously writing them down. I'm like, I will never get to use these, or
Yeah.
they'll never be important, but they're important to
all
me.
those guild names. The leaders of
Yeah.
the guild.
There is a guild with Vilus in it. What the fuck? Is
Oh,
that?
that was Tativolus.
Yeah, that's just his guild? He just.
I
knew
guess
we
so.
had
I guess he took
established
over
Wait,
it.
what
one of
was
them.
it? That was the one place that we actually broke in.
It was like secrety secret.
and we
yeah.
like
Yeah,
stole a secret.
Tativolus
Yeah.
took over
It's
it.
just like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Wild.
Then
Killed
the
him.
last year,
And then he's
Blizzard-
dead, so
Yeah,
they
we
were like,
killed him.
"Mm."
Yeah.
We got a super chat from someone very near and dear to both our hearts, Albert. Imperial Rising.
hey.
Hi, Albert.
He says, "Hey, all barely started watching Evenfall, and I've got the attention span of a squirrel with short-term memory loss.
Hell yeah.
How long do I got before the next new campaign?" And
we're
I know
gonna-
that's not technically an Evenfall question,
No,
but
no,
it's
I'm,
Albert.
I'm
let,
okay
I'll
to
let
talk about
Jacob
this. I'm
answer.
pretty open about this kind of stuff. I'm going to make a bigger video so that everybody knows what's going on. But
A little update announcement kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I
Sweet.
tend to do
Keep
them.
your eyes out for that.
yeah, but just to say very quickly here, we are starting Wild Beyond the Witchlight next Saturday. You guys are going to get some art
Welcome
soon.
beyond the bitch fight.
Wild Beyond the Bitch Fight. Colton's running it, which we're all extremely excited for.
I hope not to let you down.
You'll do great. You'll do great.
You'll do great. We are going to. I don't know when. We don't have a start date. We are going to start Strixhaven soon on our Fridays, which will replace Evenfall. Also soon.
At some point soon,
At some
yeah.
point, I was just making sure I can mention it.
Yep.
We're going to start up Avnia again,
Yep.
and we're going to finish
It's in
out
the
that
works.
game at
It's
some
in
point.
the works.
And then,
Soon TM.
Yep, soon
Soon
TM.
TM.
And then we still got
favorite.
Fallout, but our current plans, these may change, but our current plans, because we think really far ahead, and by we think really far ahead, we get really excited. And that's it.
Yeah.
Just like,
By
oh,
we
guys,
think
get really
far
excited,
ahead, we
then
mean
maybe things
Jacob
don't work
thinks
Guys,
out.
have you guys noticed that in the future, in a few months, there will be an empty space for D&D? We could fill it with D&D. So after
Move my entire work schedule around.
after Avnia, I'm not done with DMing, but man, I don't want to DM 4 games at once, and so I really want other people to start DMing a lot, and I'm really excited because Jack has offered to run a game after Avnia, and don't really 100% know what he wants to run yet.
I know what I want to run.
Okay, never mind.
What are you gonna run?
Eberron.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
So
It's going to be Eberron. It's going to
whenever-
be a Western-inspired Eberron.
I'm so
Because
excited!
hopefully it will align with when Keith Baker, the Hat himself, finally releases Frontiers of Eberron, which is his new project. I got to tell you, there is so much kick-ass stuff that he's done in it. Because I'm one of his patrons. On his patrons, he does this thing where he has his patrons running, he runs games for his patrons set in the world of the book, and it's kind of to flesh out the setting and to kind of show people that you can run a game that's just based in a western town
So cool.
in the middle of Eberron, and he's introduced like duel mechanics for like quick draw wand slinging duels,
Very cool.
and there's so much cool stuff, and I'm like, God damn it, I really want to run something in that setting. So yeah, I don't know. I knew this question may come up, and I didn't really want to like talk about it too much, but. Oh, God damn it. Do I really want to do it?
if, and I'm putting that if on there because we haven't fleshed out anything.
Yeah,
But
no-
if
no
I get to play in
guarantee.
that game, my character's from the Questonomicon. So,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
that's all I'm gonna
alright.
say.
I still have Vengeance Paladin. It's
No, I know,
still
and that was
there.
the thing. I
He's
was
there.
gonna talk to you guys and be like, this could potentially take place in that same continuity. So like, if y'all want to bring back your Eberron characters that we did in the mini campaign, you totally can.
So-
just gotta find a reason for them to be out here. I would kind of maybe prefer if they weren't, but like we could talk about it.
So-
we could talk
I
about
just
it.
like his aesthetic.
After Avnia, Jack's gonna run Eberron, After Icewind Dale, Colton's going to run Witchlight. After Evenfall, I'm running Strixhaven. And then after Fallout, we are currently planning... Craig, is it okay if I say this? Yeah. Craig's going to run Spelljammer. Super excited for that. So, and then after those games, we have vague plans, but other than that, we don't really know anything
I have
yet.
other stories in Avenue that I want to...
We shall see, but that's our current plan right now, and I am so excited to DM like one game.
And I will never DM.
Somebody
anything
has to wait.
ever.
There might seriously be a game without Jacob. I think Jacob will be in every game still.
The only thing would be like, man, this baby's growing up. Maybe I need a Friday, but like, we'll see. We'll see.
It's called putting her in the seat next to you.
She gets to play.
Oh my
And
God.
she can hold a dice.
Absolutely
And
not.
She's gonna be bad.
That's
at
the
it.
other part about me also stepping away from DMing a little bit. I first of all, I want to. I really want to play. I'm sitting in this spot right now. Just makes me excited. Like
Sitting at this spot makes me
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. So I
I'm
just
like,
really.
God.
Fucking this arcade. I want everybody to see what you guys, your ideas. I want to have different kinds of campaigns. It's been a lot of fun.
It's not
It's not
just
just
a
me.
Jacob
I just
Bud
had
show.
ideas. Yeah, exactly. But also it makes it really easy in case there's a day that like. I can't play or I can't be there
Or she
or
has to
something like
play.
that, and you guys could still play, and I could, be a dad. So yeah. Anyways, that's our current plans.
That's
Super
our
excited.
schedule.
I
Parent
be a
gross.
parent. Dumb.
Big
stupid.
asterisk by all of that,
Yep.
though. So.
Yeah.
Not Witchlight though. We're definitely
Witchlight
playing
confirmed. Strixhaven confirmed.
Witchlight Strixhaven confirmed.
Witchlight
Apnea
Arts
probably
Adoption.
confirmed.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Probably definitely
I will say,
confirmed.
after we officially wrap Icewind, I'll start hinting at Witchlight art.
I was thinking we could drop it on Sunday.
All of it.
I was thinking because then because you want to do the thing where we don't say who's who and they have to guess.
Yeah, we could. You know what?
We
Sure.
could give them the whole
Drop
week.
it all on Sunday.
Hell yeah, let's
and
do it.
just watch,
Just overwhelm everybody.
Watch the theorists.
By the way, this is kind of how we make a lot of our decisions on this channel.
Just
is
very
like,
spur of the
that-
moment.
Congrats! You just got
Love
an
to do
inside look
things
at how
that-
we make a decision.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah.
Only
Anyways,
it's usually while I'm at work.
Same.
yeah, we
same,
just
same,
feel
same.
great.
When
See,
I just feel my phone
When the sensible
vibrating.
one is not here, the device will play.
And then I just go like that and just mute it.
Yeah, I'll go
yeah. It's a lot.
I'll go to lunch and look at my phone and see 37 messages and then put my phone down.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
all right.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so there's that. The official, unofficial announcement.
Yes.
Cool. Well, let's get back to the reason we're all here. Some Evenfall questions.
Whoa.
Hey, Colton.
Oh
You know what I
boy.
have to say to that?
What?
Pogger.
All right, come
Craig, take us out. Take us out.
Okay, cut the stream. Cut the stream.
Don't do it.
I
Don't do
thought
it.
it was
Don't
funny.
do it. Okay, so
I'm sorry. What was the thing for Colton?
how exciting is it that we just revealed so much and people no doubt have questions and we're gonna be like, no, you don't get to ask questions about that.
That's the best part.
Anyways, so yeah, Colton.
Hi.
D&D asked. D&D said something really funny
D&D.
earlier, where someone was like, "It's Mr. D&D," and they were like, "Yes, it is I, the world's greatest role-playing." It was so funny.
Don't know to fight that.
Were
with
Cardos and Stitch always planned as temporary characters, or was there a point where you thought one or the other would be permanent?
Cardos was definitely not temporary. Cardos was meant to be permanent.
When Cora died, you were like, am I going to get to play her again? Is she going to come back? And I kind of just said no.
Yeah. Jacob essentially went, I don't think Cora will come back. That's going to be the end of her story for the time being. Maybe something will happen in the future, but it's unlikely, so make a new character that will take her place as the main character.
I knew at the time that wasn't true, but I wanted to tell you that.
Okay. And then,
DM
and
lies.
then when Cardos made the decision to leave, I talked to Jacob, and for a significant amount of time, Jacob went, Stitch is very, very likely to be a temporary character. However, we have no idea what the party's going to do, so don't feel like 100% like Core will end up coming back.
By the time that you were going to play, you were like, okay, what do I play now? And I was
Yeah,
like, make
we
a
were
temporary character because it's likely you get to play Core, but if not, then
we can figure it out.
because it righted on the fact that the party decided to bring her back.
Right. Which was very unlikely that they wouldn't,
Right.
but we didn't know.
But it was like that question earlier. It's like, what would have happened if you guys brought somebody else back? And it's like, I don't think they would, but it could have happened, and they would have been like, fuck Cora.
Or by very very easily by mistake, knowing us as a party, we could have just brought someone else back, not realizing the way that it worked,
I
and then
originally
been
was going to make
forced to make a
Phelan.
decision.
I was going to make Phelan choose between Core and Kyria, and then I was like, nah.
It was okay. I was ready to make the decision.
What would you have
It would have been
chosen?
Core.
Whoa.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Kyrie would have
sense.
been okay with it.
I think Kyria would have.
They've had lots of discussions on
Vincent
who's going to
would-
die and
Vincent would
who's
probably
not.
never forgive
And
you,
that's why
though.
Vincent
Yeah.
didn't leave it up to Phelan.
There was a question. Somebody asked
Yeah, sounds about right.
how many cosmic horrors Kyria and Vincent killed in the parallel, the dimension parallel to us fighting Lycus and stuff.
Where?
Don't know.
Sorry?
I think I'm answering the question wrong. Or maybe how many devils they killed.
Oh, when
is
they
what
went,
were
when they
talking
went to
about.
Bazoosa.
Oh, you guys blew the Kyria and
Bazoosa
Vincent.
Pacific?
Yeah, Bazoosa specific.
Another question for you after this one. So.
Kyria and Vincent went to Bazoosa, and they weren't like crunching on everybody. They were kind of like, take us to your leader, and and they were like, no, die. And then they were like, all right, anybody who tries to fight us, we're gonna kill you. And they just killed their way to Baphomet, and then bonked him on the head.
Nice.
Not Baphomet. What's his name?
Bail.
Bail.
Sorry, Baphomet's a demon. Bail, and then bonked him on the head, and he went back to the Night Hells. Nice. So now all of the archdevils who had come to the material plane from Sunder are back in the Night Hells.
And a few
Or
more dead.
completely dead.
Yeah, Garion's dead.
I have a weird
No,
question.
Titulus isn't permadead.
Yeah, he is. We
Yes,
killed
we
him in
killed
hell.
him in Hells.
We
Siberius.
one-shot him and then went into the hells and killed him
Killed him
again.
there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Titulus
Cimerius
is-
and Titivulus were both there.
Yes.
Right. Cimerius, yes, Titivulus.
We don't know what happened with Zero.
Sorry, I just
so-
completely forgot. Zero's
yeah.
still alive.
Damn it.
I was gonna be like, it's a tell-all. Did Zerial die?
Zerial made a deal with Lycus to let out Tiamat.
Hudgen?
Hydrogen, yeah, got killed off screen by Olivier and Zephyr.
And,
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, the one asshole
Moloch.
that was Moloch.
Moloch is
But
permanent.
Moloch was never like an archdevil. He was like an
He
old
be- he- no, he
archdevil. He
became
wanted. Didn't he want his spot back? Wasn't that the whole?
Yeah, and then he
shtick?
betrayed you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then-
that's right. We
Vincent
took him,
killed
that's right. He
devils.
took it from
Vincent killed
Glacia.
him.
That's right.
Vincent turned him into dust.
Coops would like to know what happened to the dwarf city that is now full of mind flayers. I think
They're
you
all
kind of
mind
answered the
flayers.
question. there.
Thelagon, yeah, and that dwarf city is now got a lot of mind flayers in it, and a lot of dwarves
Didn't
escaped.
Dim get binked as well?
No, Dim didn't get fucked.
Oh.
Dim had a big rave, and that was about it.
Yeah.
It was a city that you
Dim Dim
were,
didn't get binked because of the power of Rave.
Right.
Yeah.
the one
So
that you were
stupid.
Or
imprisoned
did it
at.
get beat
Yeah.
because of
That one got emptied because a lot of people got turned into mind flayers. A bunch of dwarves left, probably went either deeper into the Underdark or to the surface to other
They went to
cities.
Dim Dim.
Yeah.
To get
get
binked.
I'm not going to count the casualties there. There's a lot of mind
Wow.
flayers now.
Oopsies.
Oh, Master
You know,
was back.
circle of life. Yeah.
That's probably something.
Hey,
That's
Life,
probably.
The
finds
Ember
a way.
Warriors killed
That-
them all.
I was gonna say,
Like that.
that's probably something that members of the party dealt with at some point.
yeah.
No way.
Spencer, did Kia ever tell Ronan that Philip was his dad?
Yes.
But like, where
Are
in the
you
timeline?
sure?
Like, how early did
Spencer,
Ronan know?
After Philip and Kia avoided telling Ronan that until after it was sure that Philip wasn't just gonna die in like a day. So probably soon after they came back from defeating Lycus.
Spencer,
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question.
For me?
And this is the last game, so you have to say what you told me.
What?
Were Kia and LaMarcia ever roommates?
They were roommates.
And you guys all fucking ridiculed me for that shit.
No,
It wasn't me, it was her!
I fucking knew it from the.
Wow.
I knew it wasn't you.
All right, well.
I know
Craig,
Spencer.
Kia said.
That's it. Thank you,
both.
everybody, for I'm kidding.
The chair is empty.
Oh, no!
Just
I think
make,
he's eating his dinner.
Oh, yeah, he can eat his dinner. That's fine.
tell Philip that, and he's just like,
I was gonna say Philip will never
Yeah,
know.
I'm sorry. We have to get a divorce.
It's not because of you. It's because of me.
Yeah.
No, it's because
Yeah.
of my
Because of my
sister.
sister. Always my sister.
Caleb Bohr wants to know.
Payson has definitely said
No.
to LaMarcia,
No.
it's unfortunate he's your brother. Anyways,
Wow.
What does that even mean?
Caleb
Otherwise,
Bohr wants to
pizza would be
know what happened to Lilia's crush on Philip.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that
the Philia.
eventually just
It went
dissipated.
away when she
Wow.
died.
How
I went to
natural.
I went to
He went to jail, yeah.
Well,
She
they had-
learned that she didn't like bad boys.
Yeah.
Bad boys.
Well, part of it is that she had
Demon-possessed
there was such a period of time where she went through so much kind of like character development on her own, and Philip was away
In
from the
jail?
party.
In jail?
Yeah, she kind of was able to kind of separate herself from kind of the needing someone kind of thing, and so she became kind of her own person.
Can
So
we
by
just-
the time they reunited, she was like, oh,
Hey,
I
can we
kind
just
of.
talk about the fact that like this crush is
Yeah.
just somebody taught Lilia how to swim and she was like, "Wow, somebody cares about me."
Yeah, that's
all
it.
it is.
It's a very like elementary school kind of
Yeah.
crush,
Yeah,
which
it is.
fits with the idea that
Yes.
Yeah. It was very much of
Lilia had never felt
got
this emotion
positive-
before.
Yeah, got positive, reinforcement, and much like how children do that, it
Yeah.
turns into infatuation, and then they're
Yeah.
Get
like,
married.
and then it's like,
And then that
then
just adds
time
even
away
more.
and
the time away and self
God, Phil's
growth.
hot though.
or
just
you
saying.
just blame Philip that it was just so bad that
I
Lilia's
loved- I
like,
loved
I
all
like
those-
girls.
I loved all those
Me
little.
too.
He's like, sick.
I miss the descriptions of hot Philip
Yeah.
whenever he would go to Lilia.
I think that added
added a lot
I think that
to it.
added a lot of the fuel to the
was so
fire.
funny.
Teaching Lilia how to swim? Is
No,
that what
no,
you're
no,
talking
like,
about?
everything.
There was a lot of time.
Just anytime
Anytime
you would
Philip
do
did
Yeah,
something
no,
for
I'm saying
Lilia, I
it's
was
just,
like,
I think that started when Philip was teaching her how to swim.
Yes.
No, it
Philip
started
sweat-
far. It started
Philip's
far
sweat
before that.
dripping down his
You
brow.
mentioned it.
I fucking hate you,
It
man.
happened
The
when you
sunlight
stopped the
glistening
boulder.
over the
Yeah.
beach.
I
That's
I
what
did
it
not
started.
come here for
Swim was the very
Harlequin
first
romance.
episode.
Oh, boy.
Teaching to swim was not the first episode.
Not teaching to swim, but pulling Lilia across the water when she couldn't swim.
It's very
Yeah.
possible
was
that
first.
Jacob
as he
did a
holds you
description of it.
upwards, the veins in his hands.
I'm going to take these dice.
Not
Those
his
are my
Fallout
Fallout
dice.
dice.
I'm going to take them.
No, don't take the fall dice. Take the Icewind Dale dice,
Yes.
please.
Are they the blue ones?
Oh
Hand
my!
him over.
You can take my Evenfall ones. No, you can't.
Hand him over.
And to answer just any question, Lilia could have went with either. Just needed
With either.
more as a friendship becoming a more.
Yeah.
What everything was.
Sometimes that happens more often than not with certain crushes. It's like I'm super into you, and then it's like I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just kind of how it goes.
Dial thought Lamarcia was so hot.
That doesn't
was-
We're
surprise
aware
me.
of it.
Jacob,
So, you know.
D&D would like to know.
Oh, the D&D.
How did you decide which immortals would be killed by Lycus and which order for characters from previous campaigns would appear?
Oh, I just thought about it like realistically. Like I didn't like make any decisions. I was just like, okay, if this was supposed to happen, what would have happened? Mallory's old.
I have a
Lycus
bone
is
to pick
very
with you.
powerful. Lycus would have just been like, give me that. She would have said no, and he went. Bzz.
I have a bone to pick with you. You told me, and I granted things changed, so it's fine. But you told me way when the game started, you were like, every immortal was going to make an appearance, and
She did. She did.
I waited the whole time for Mallory to
Tonfa
show
did.
up, and then the Tonfa were in the Fortress
was
of
her
Memories.
appearance.
Cameo.
I went,
I told you she would.
she didn't. Her weapon did.
The memory of her did.
Charlie was dead too.
So trinket.
Was Charlie just already dead? Though?
Yeah, I just thought
Charlie
about
was
it.
probably already dead.
Realistically, like,
I mean,
we
it's
already
fair.
did the thing with Eugene. We knew what was going on there. He tried to take it. He blew up a portion of Lee and I, and then left. And then he knew that would probably lead to war, so he'd know he'd get that one eventually. And then it wasn't hard for him to locate Mallory. It wasn't hard for him to locate Chai Li. And for the most part, he didn't have to like take their piece of the heart. He had already created synthesized versions of them. He just needed to destroy both of them. So, like, Lycus didn't even show up for a conversation. He just showed up and was like, hi, and just killed him. But I think Chai Li was already dead, and Lamarcia and Mallory was on her last legs. She fought him. It was a really, I would think that she would have definitely like beat him like pretty hard.
It wasn't like the manner of surprise
you,
and him
Craig.
being a spellcaster.
But Lycus in the end would have won.
Thank you,
It's like
James.
Mallory in her prime versus a weak Lycus probably would have stood a chance.
Maybe. Lycus probably outsmarted her in a way.
That would definitely happen.
He just had to
he
Outsmarted
probably
Mallory?
You gotta
That would
understand,
never happen.
Mallory survived solely on the back of Ashkari.
That's true. Yeah.
Lycus probably did a thing where he did that like projection that he can do. He the first fight with her was a projection. She thought she beat him, and then he showed up and he's like, "You didn't even do anything to me," and then just
The
won.
bisexual dice.
So unfortunately, but like she went out swinging, and then Halo was just all over the place.
She doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah, and I think that's the one that got taken from in Pribaro, because you guys didn't have them. You guys just knew where they were, and Lycus just needed to know where they were so he could destroy them. Yeah. And so Thenhala just he didn't need to kill her because she was all over the place. She was hard to find, and he just needed to know where her piece was. Yeah. Luckily, Ashkari just knew, so he just went with that instead.
And also the reason why Thenhala didn't start dying like what happened with Eugene is because her life force wasn't really connected to the heart either.
Because Eugene was still Eugene's a greedy little fuck, and he was still kind of connected to his.
Yeah.
Did you tell them that Eugene didn't agree to having
the
memory of where it was wiped?
Yeah. Everybody. So all of the Immortals. As far as the Immortals know, you all had your memory wiped on where they were, except for Ashkari. Ashkari knew. However, that isn't true. What actually happened was there was a really big argument between all of the Immortals.
Of course.
That sounds about right.
Because
spent most of the
Eugene did
game-
not agree, and nobody could convince him otherwise. So
Sounds
he
alright.
and Ashkari came to an agreement. The rest of the Immortals thought they were like, they like probably went to a room, talked, came out, and were like, okay, we figured it out. Eugene has agreed. You all agreed with it, got your memories wiped, and then left. Ashkari just went to Eugene and was like, what's it going to take? And Eugene's like, you're going to have to kill me. And Ashkari went, well, I can't do that, so I guess I fine, you win. And Ashkari just told the other Immortals that he chose to forget, and he didn't.
Plus 13
So did he know where all of them were?
He just
or
knew where
just
his was.
Just his.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he promptly went and took it. And kept it in Lilia.
Which was a back decision.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but
What was the last one we went to go find at the Tiamat?
This bitch empty.
Yeah, I know, but Lycus left the note there as if there was a piece there. Whose was that?
I think it's Thenhala's. No,
You mentioned that was Pribaro.
that was, I think the one in Pribaro was Chiles, because he was already dead, so that lady just found it. And then the one in the Dragon Temple was the Thenhala, because
Well,
it's a
that
fucking
makes
Dragon
sense.
Temple.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I lost my internet connection. I'm currently reconnecting.
Oh, no.
But there was a question. Albert asked a question, and that reminded me of a question that somebody else asked. Albert's question was good. It was. I just feel like the question was like, was there ever a moment that anyone wanted to go like full murder hobo during the game? But somebody asked a question prior to it where it was like, I think it was the Black Nid, and it said they said everyone has a breaking point. What circumstance could have occurred that would have driven your character to either abandon their quest or join Lycus?
Oh, wow.
To join Lycus.
I know for
That's
Laszlo,
interesting.
I think any threat to Ashkari would probably convince him. Like, if Lycus had just been like, I've got Ashkari, and like, and if he had a way to like permanently kill her, probably, like Laszlo would probably be like, shit, like I gotta be
nice
where my
knowing you
wife
can,
is,
you.
you know. It's like. He would very begrudgingly help Lycus in that regard.
Yeah, I thought that was better spent on La Marcia.
No, for sure,
Like, I'll take Payson and La Marcia will kind of be
Yeah.
this instead.
No, that completely makes sense. It would also just kind of undermine like my character's agency
Oh, yeah,
for the whole
no.
thing. So like it completely
Yeah.
makes sense that you
Like, you guys
that
bring
did that.
Ashkari back, and then it's like, fuck you.
I got
It's
your
like
wife.
it's like he totally could have, but I don't know. Sometimes things need to be convenient for a story to make
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
So yeah, was there any sort of
I
circumstance?
can do two quick ones and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
figure out core. Stitch didn't want to die, so if it was going to be like too dangerous, he was out.
Very simple.
Which is exactly
All
why
it took
he
for
left.
Lycus was to hold a gun to his head and be like,
Yeah.
hey. He was like,
and
I don't even know who
all
those
it
guys
took
are.
was half of a hot
and
dog.
Cardos has literally happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
core, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
No, Lycus just had to show up to Stitch and go, this is a mythic rare.
Yeah.
Demonic tutor, etch foiled. And you're just like,
Sorry, guys.
Indicate. Hoggers.
Bink with the silver. So many inside jokes
For the
crammed into that
first,
5 seconds.
2/3 of the campaign, it would have been if he offered Lilia an out for her and her family from the family.
I kind of love that, and kind of that's I guess one thing I almost wish I would have done is that he would have gone to her and been like, I can give you what you want.
Exactly. And
Because
so,
it's like not something Lycus would have been against. Because towards the end of the game, I was doing that thing where he was like, I'm just like you guys. But it was just because it was true. Like, there were some of you that he sympathized with. And, like, Lilia is definitely one of them, where he just... it was just that you had already fixed everything. It would have been... I think it would have been really cool, and it definitely in his character to reach out to you and be like, I can help you.
definitely post Shadowfell arc, I don't think there really was anything.
Interesting.
Unless everyone else in the party gave up and said, we can't do this anymore, then she had no reason not to follow along.
Yeah, I think if everybody was dead in that room and you were the last one, and Lycus was like, I'll bring them all back if you kill yourself, which he would have never done. But I feel like Lilia would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I think for Core it would have taken the party being dead too.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, obviously she'd already died once, so she knew she couldn't do it alone. But if the party was dead, there would have been no one to do it with. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, because I saw you turn on the camera.
He's not the host, I am.
Well,
I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
Phelan would probably never go for it. Even as much as he is
That
all for
makes
his
perfect
friends.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
He's been one of the people that was directly impacted by Lycus's actions just by being born. So there'd be no way he could stand with Lycus.
Very cool.
I should clarify, she wouldn't join with Lycus, she would give up on
Yeah.
killing him.
Yeah.
She would never join Lycus. But she
Lycus
would give up
also
the hunt.
would never have let you join him. He would have killed you.
He would have, yeah, of course.
Lycus would have let anybody join his side, maybe besides Core. Yeah, Core's the only one. Oh, and Kurt, because if Kurt didn't kill a Elisar, yeah. Oh, Lycus and a Elisar were roommates.
I was saying, it sounds like
Amazing.
there's a polycule
I
thing
remember
going
that.
on.
It was, and then
Morganthus?
Elisar got more obsessed with his work, so Lycus sort of like went more towards Morgantha.
It went, I
Morgantha
don't
would be
like
like,
this.
here's my husband and here's my husband's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So, Spencer had Lamarcia and Kia as
Disney
backup
Day.
characters, right? And of course, Colton had his
Oh,
kind of
wait.
sort of backup characters.
No, she didn't.
You just said nothing for either of them?
What? No.
What would have
No,
taken
Did you not
for
answer the
Lamarcia?
question? I'm sorry.
Lamarcia did.
Yeah.
And she would have tried to kill everyone in the party if Payson died.
Fair.
So that was the other thing too. It was like a double ending kind of thing, where like if you guys wouldn't have saved Payson, Lamarcia would have never been on your side, which we were preparing for. And so like it was cool that you guys got him, which was
Yeah.
great. But there was the chance that if you guys didn't save Payson from that painting, that Lamarcia would have been somebody you would have had to kill.
Yeah.
That would have been rough.
So Lamarcia would have killed Eugene and then tried to kill the rest of the party.
Yeah.
I don't know if Philip would. Maybe if he had Kia and Ronan, and yeah, I don't know. And I don't think Kia would.
Fair enough.
Maybe for Ronan, not for Philip. For Ronan though, yeah.
That's fair.
Fair
It's
enough.
the mother's love type of
Yeah.
thing.
Fair enough.
It's kind of like, he's made his bed.
So the question was, did anyone else have potential backup characters they might have played if their main ones had to leave the party for some reason? I think that's a great question. Does anyone have any?
Cole's not allowed to answer. He played all of them.
Well, Jack already. I ran out and had to make one on the fly.
Yeah.
That's how mine went.
Yeah. Not exactly a backup character for me, but I was originally going to come in with just a completely different character. They're a hobgoblin armor artificer.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm the one who ruined that. I apologize.
No. Honestly, it was much more emotionally rewarding to play this game as Laszlo than it ever would have been to play as Cass. Because Cass legitimately had no reason to be there. Like, Laszlo did, but I'll play Cass again someday, maybe.
Someday.
Yeah.
Keep it in your back pocket.
Did you have a backup character? Would it have been
Specifically-
Talia?
I would have considered it. I never had like a specific backup character, but I would definitely have either. I've had lots of different character ideas, and I can
It would have been
pull
Talia.
one, or Talia would have been on the short list. Kind of
I would have said play Talia.
Then I would have played Talia at that point.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know if I would have thought of it in the moment, but if something had happened to Laszlo after bringing back Ashkari, I probably would have asked Grace's permission to play Ashkari.
I've been like,
Which
I don't know. It's
would have
been a
been
while
kinda
since I played
wild.
that
Oh
character.
no, I'm just
But that, of
DM
course, did not end up
Yeah,
happening,
'cause
so...
my answer would be the DM told me no because I can't play her.
oh dang. Yeah, I would have said no.
Yeah, you probably would have.
Like, ooh, I have things for this character.
That's fine.
Sorry.
But yeah.
You played Kia.
I'll say I didn't intend to play Kia, but you were like, they're gonna have to go get Philip, and I was like, Lamarcia absolutely would not do that. So I was like, well, I'll just play Kia and make her a character.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
cool.
like you playing Kia gave it fleshed out her character like you'd said,
Yeah. Mhm.
but it gave more of a dynamic that got us involved in Ronan, Philip, and Kia, all of that for us to actually care about. Like, Philip, you got a kid,
Yeah, I
and it's
do.
because we like your not wife.
We like your.
Yeah.
She's very
Definitely.
nice and hot, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice and hot.
Don't mess that one up.
I was hoping, above all hopes, Phelan wouldn't die.
Did you not have
It
any
happened.
ideas?
Man, I agree. I didn't even realize that, but the whole time of the campaign, I always expected you guys to get back to Philip and be like, "All right, buddy, now what are you gonna do with your life?" And instead, it was, "Philip, the fuck, go see your kid. What are you
Yeah.
doing?" Like, "Hey, Philip, we left off. He's gone. We don't know where he is." The party shows up again with Kia in tow, and they're like, "What are you doing? We know so much about you now." And he's like, "Oh no."
We know all of
no.
your secrets.
When did she tell you?
Everything.
Talia literally
stuff.
left a note in your drawer. Like, do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Now's a good time.
Yeah, I had no idea. I might have played a Drake Warden because I just really like that class,
Yeah.
but we'll save that for another
Yeah,
time.
another day.
You ever died in one of my campaigns?
Yes.
Kyria died in the second game you played in.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
and then died
And
again in
also
Evenfall, and
Ashkari.
Ashkari
Yeah.
died like twice.
And-
No. Like you had to be playing the character. You got
Kyria.
brought to 0, and then
Kyria.
death saves. Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
the
Remember
second
in the
game?
game that's
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all it took.
Becoming
It
an
took you 2
Because
games to
you
figure me
chose
out. And then
Kyria
you're like,
over
Nice.
I'll never die in a campaign.
Jacob told me the
Strategy.
truth to that. When it actually happened, he messaged me and said that it was an oopsie on your part. And Jacob has since told me that it was your decision to bring Zephyr back with
I was
with the
looking back at my
reincarnation.
Vincent notes earlier, and I have like a little detail list of all of the members in the party. And the first thing I've written for Kyria is half elf, blood hunter, very hot.
That's pretty much the same thing Jacob said, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
he's hot.
He is hot man.
Indeed.
Sorry, I just want to ask that question to everybody, just very quickly. Have any of you not, like, I'm not going to count Atlantica, but like, have any of you been in my games? Colton, don't even answer.
I already knew what you were
Hit
gonna say.
0, like, in combat, hit 0, failed, death saves, died.
No.
Who was it?
Ben.
Multiple
Yeah,
Van Halen did
the
die.
water
It
weirds.
was the you owe me 500 gold moment.
You guys were at a city, you fought water weirds underwater, and then
I
you hit 0.
electrocute myself.
Yeah, you electrocuted yourself, and then got
Then
brought back
drowned.
up. You revivified her back, and then the first thing Eugene said to her was, "You owe me 500 gold."
Yes.
Is that the only one?
I think so.
I think so.
You've
too.
never died?
No.
We gotta change that.
Laszlo was killed off screen.
Yeah.
Jeremy has come close, but that wasn't in your game.
Not
that was
me.
Tyler's.
I don't think so.
Logan ran that one shot one time where all of us died except Spencer.
That didn't
Yeah.
count.
Other than that,
We had to count Colton's. It's a number.
It's like if you're counting multiple times for the same character, it's like 13 or something.
I think Colton at this point looks at D&D and goes,
How can I die?
"You can die in this game."
No,
plays it like
here's
Dark
what I
Souls.
do. Here's what I don't play it like Dark Souls. I
Only
play it like I
memory
play it like roulettes. I go, how far
Yeah.
can I push this?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was too far.
Oh shit,
try
that
to
was
bargain.
too Oh shit,
And
that
then
was
you
too
try
far.
to
Oh
bargain.
shit, that was too
Yeah.
far. Oh shit, that was too far again.
That's the only one I can remember of death saves die, not
I've
like
died in
a
a one
written
shot.
kind of thing.
was gonna
Have
say
you never
it's gonna be a
died?
completely
No.
different experience when I do.
I
gotta change
died.
that.
We all died in Tesseract, but I didn't get to roll death saves. Logan just went, "You guys are all dead."
Well, we were.
We were.
Um,
The only thing that could have
and then-
possibly changed that would have been a natural 20,
Yeah.
but even then, what were we gonna do?
Didn't get to roll.
Yeah, have one hit point and die again.
Yes.
Maybe like teleport
and
out
then,
if you could.
Ari died and Rosalie died.
Ari's death wasn't.
Ari died to
it
the
was
werewolves.
a plot, right?
Yeah, it was. She got bit by a werewolf in
Yeah, it
Curse of
was
Strahd,
plot.
and because she was a changeling, we were like, "Your body is failing," and then she became an Azamar. And then who else?
Rosalie died twice.
Rosalie died
Did she
during
die
the campaign.
during the campaign?
No.
She died during the Death Curse.
She died in her backstory, and then the death curse killed her out of game.
I think Jacob meant like in game.
No, I've never died in your game besides a one shot.
Gina never died.
Which one?
I don't think so. No.
The,
No, she was never brought back.
Wow,
I just
There was
realized.
no bringing back.
Descent.
Colton,
No.
there's a pattern here. I'm just saying.
I'm switching up the question. I fully survived through Ghost of Saltmarsh,
You died
Yeah,
later
but you
though.
played a different character.
but I
still.
fully survived.
You cannot say who here has lived through a game.
true.
You killed all of the immortals.
You did
but that was
survive.
out of game.
That was
did
out
I
of
did
game.
also. I
That's
did
not Death
also
Save one.
technically
Yeah.
fully survive. The pre-written trio, thanks to you, in part, because you gave Kyrie
Kyrie
a
has
dex
fully
check.
survived.
Kyrie fully survived
He
until
almost
his
died,
arc
but-
finished. So I've got some.
Jury's still out on Velkari.
Yeah.
Jury saw on Valkyrie.
Damon died.
She's got like 180
He's
health.
gone.
No, he did die. He
Oh, he
He
did.
literally
that
did.
Phalanx
brought him
fucking
back.
speared
That-
the shit
yeah.
out of him.
I forgot about
Same
that.
on you.
Oh my god, yeah, that was crazy.
I'm like, oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
jeez.
Damon died.
You see how easy it is.
And then Issa went no mercy.
Hey.
Yeah, for real. Oh, that was crazy. I forgot about that. But,
I was pushing the limits. I knew
you were. I think you said afterwards is like you were like so hyped up to like fight these guys that you went in and you were like, oh shit.
Well,
I think you guys
it says partially Damon
I'm like,
too.
okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Damon.
I always ask my DMs to kill me because as a DM myself get nervous to kill.
Oh, no,
players.
absolutely.
Because there's some players who are like, I don't want to die, and I just really want my DM to know that it is okay to kill me. And also,
Real life,
to be
or-
honest, is that a threat? Yeah, this isn't the Avnia game, the Avnia
No,
thing, but I just want to say that in that game I was really just pushing my limits. I was like, will Tyler kill me? Oh, they will.
Back to my final comment on the backup characters is that I probably wouldn't have thought to ask to play Ashkari, but if something happened to last night, I would probably bring back Tiramisu. Tiramisu was fun. That was
real quick.
That was a crazy little multi-class I did.
All of you fighting Lycus and this cat.
This
I would have gotten away with
this
it.
one will
Except it
defeat
wasn't
you
for
like
dumb
us.
kids.
Like
you
a-
dumb cat
Yeah,
too.
the cat.
Like it's defeated by cat allergies.
Oh my god.
He's
That's
like,
why
no,
he
my
hates
weakness.
Leonaya.
Oh my god.
That's why he blocked my mom.
hates
Oh, that piece of junk
Last.
out of the sky.
Hey, Tyler, how difficult was the decision to make between bringing back Lilia or bringing back her brother? And what do you think probably would have happened in the event that you did bring back
We would have
your
gone
brother
with a whole
instead?
new
I
character.
think it's funny.
So
We all just would have been like, don't do it. Not another one.
the answer to that is hard. I don't know. I just had to take some time to kind of think about it and figure out what would be the actual like decision. Well, I know what probably would have happened if Lilia had stayed behind and her brother came back instead. Her brother's a kid, so
Not another one.
you guys would just have a kid, and
A child.
I would not be playing at the time.
We would just drop you
It's
off
like I
at
already
Leon.
have one of those. You gotta find someone.
I know.
Just drop you off at Leonaya. Just
You
been
would have
like,
wait, why is there a fucking kid here? That's it. I don't know what you guys would do. You would have a kid that you now have to
Lasswell
deal
could
I
with.
had
have
an
taken
idea.
in.
Oh shit! Yeah. That could
So,
have happened.
Yeah, it could've
Oh,
happened.
that'd be sad.
My idea was that your brother would have come back, NPC. I would have played him, and then I would have had something happen where like Talia was maybe searching for the
Yeah.
Blackburns, and it wasn't working on Lilia because of some weird stuff that happened with her being an undead. But with her brother being back, she would have like her radar would have pinged, and she would have like been able to find him. And like a day later, she would have been like, "I've been looking for these people because like I used to know their family. How is he alive? Oh, you guys knew Lilia. I knew her as well, and then you would have played her. That was my idea of what could have happened. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Cardos wizards. She would absolutely have these weird things if she was
Little radar.
Yeah, little radar.
Gator.
Gator.
The Gaydar. She's like, beep.
She's like, you're all dead. She's like, I just picked up all this.
Yeah, we're D&D characters.
Have
That's
you seen the way we dress?
It's all about the queer experience.
If it pointed at Kurt
Yeah,
long
you
enough,
guys
just
walk
kind of.
into the final battle, and he's like, you're all just like me.
Gay.
Hey Jacob, how much info was prepped for the dancing sun babies? Were they just races' names? And did they have character sheets or levels in heroic classes?
Races and names. Okay. I heard racist names.
Not racist names. Races, comma, names.
They are in a document. I did prepare them. I wanted the party to have a rival adventuring party because I was trying to light a fire under their ass to do something. I also thought it would be kind of fun. So I made a rival adventuring party in Pribarrow, and I came up with all of them and their names. So yeah, they have stat blocks. They had names that I prepared before we played and all of that stuff. So yes, I didn't just come up with them. They were something I wanted to have in Pribarrow. And it worked to great effect. You guys fucking hated them.
I thought they were chill.
I feel like the hate was completely one-sided. There was like no reason.
And it was all from Kurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Core couldn't have cared less about them.
Lilia was just,
Do you know why I say you guys hated them? Because you guys didn't stop Kurt. You're like, oh well.
Do you know
Every time we tried to start Kurt from doing anything, it didn't.
They would do it harder. Is the thing. That's the thing. They would do it harder. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like when you tell the kid, don't touch something. It's like, I'm not fucking touch it.
Phelan learned.
As soon as
liked
Kurt
the
was
dancing
like,
sun babies.
They were okay.
We're gonna murder this.
He just had no opinion. He's just like.
They were just people,
That's
and
what
Kurt was
yeah.
like, these assholes. It's
I
like,
planned
Kurt,
on
they're
them
people.
like being rivals to you guys, and eventually they would have met up with the Wanted Wanderers, and if you guys weren't doing anything, they would have gotten the piece of the heart.
You should let them do everything.
But I have no idea what would
They
happen
would have
after
been the main
that.
characters.
Why did Lycus have them in a portrait?
What did they do?
Oh yeah, why were they in Lycus's gallery?
Because they were also gonna go kill him. They were the rival adventuring party.
Oh my
And
god.
they pulled up, and he went. Boop.
What's the? Somebody asked, and I forgot to ask you. What's like the logistics behind the painting? Like, is there a particular effect that you came up with, or were you just like it would be cool if there was magic that trapped them in a painting?
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't come up with logistics for it. I had an idea of how it would work, but it was more of a, I think it's cool that Lycus has a bunch of people in paintings. Grace, that's my wallet.
I'm sorry.
Grace has been touching everything around her, and she just took my wallet and was like, whoa.
It's like
The ADHD is
it's like
strong
the
with this one.
Luigi's Mansion Mario in a painting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're fine, you're fine.
Look through
There you
those.
go. We're parents now.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
It is a fruit.
Do you want me to put on the
Grace.
dancing fruits for you?
Grace's baby.
Dude, they're very interesting.
But no, I didn't really have like mechanics for it. I had a way that you guys could get them out, but I guess my idea
Which is
was
what
just
we
like
did.
if Lycus beat you in his lair, then or if Lycus maybe once per day like was gonna kill somebody, he could instead trap their soul in a catalyst and then go to his mansion, his citadel, and be like, you're in a painting now.
Sorry, how you said that once per day when he goes to kill somebody, just like, I'm going to kill you. Oh, I have to go take a long rest.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be
You
back.
know, and you're
I'll be
just
back.
like,
Did the way that we got them out of the paintings? Was that the intended way, or was there a different way that was intended?
What?
The way that we got out, the way that we got the people
Shoving
that we got
Eugene
out of the
back in?
paintings. No, I'm just saying,
No,
like
no,
the
no.
way
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the way that they
God
escaped.
damn it,
Ripping the
you
hole
little
out.
asshole.
It's like
Stop.
the ostrich
You're
lane.
dancing.
Turn
I'm
off the
aware.
fruits.
You
She's
know
not a
that
baby.
it's like,
No,
I
I just want to show it to you.
Dude,
Just look at it.
yeah. Okay.
We'll just leave that there.
I would take your phone.
This is abuse.
It is.
You guys want to watch?
No, not really.
Hey, guys.
I love some dancing fruits.
They're kind of fun to watch.
They are.
I'm not trying to be mean. They're
Okay.
fun to
No,
watch.
you're bullying me.
I
I'm
gotta,
not bullying you.
I think
Sometimes I watch them.
the
I
moderator
gotta
needs
interfere
to-
here.
The way that we pulled Eugene and them out of the paintings, was that the intended way?
It
or
was.
did you-
There was no other way except a wish.
Sorry,
What
Dad.
about the bag of holding thing?
Oh yeah, what happened there? Throwing the bag,
Bag
of holding. Into the,
Oh, it just created the rift and then it imploded in on itself.
So we were supposed to fight.
whatever that
It
was.
it was a cosmic horror from Spelljammer, and then the second one you guys would have done would have been two of those star.
We did
ghosts.
fight.
Yeah, we
those.
did.
We fought
So
the
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like
We
intended. like
did it, and then we
had to-
fucking murdered.
Yeah, because I didn't want you guys to fight two cosmic horrors before fighting Lycus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even though it wasn't.
But it's pretty cool what Kurt ended up
That's.
doing.
I was like, yeah, we killed them. I was like, no, we didn't. That was.
Kurt threw the bag in a
Yeah,
hole.
bag of holding.
It's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, this is what happens if somebody has a creative way to deal with this, then go for it. And the bag of holding was that. and
We're
I was
just
like,
lucky that we were
rest in
positioned where we were, 'cause if we were any closer, some of us would have been sucked into the astral plane.
Were there any more notable NPCs that were trapped in those paintings that
Other
we
than-
didn't talk to?
Orcus,
And
your
Sauce.
master's master,
Let's go talk to him.
the dancing sun babies, Eugene, Payson. Somebody asked if somebody was in a painting, and I can't remember, and I ended up saying yes, but I can't remember if you who asked me or somebody else, but somebody was like, are they in there? And I would have been like, oh, yeah,
Ereval?
technically. Ereval was, and that was just because Ereval went back to Lycus and was like, you have to stop. Like what you're doing is wrong. You should stay here. And he was like, oh, you're disagreeing with me? Vincent was in one, but you guys saved him. That's when I intended you guys to get Vincent.
Was that the end of the game?
Yeah. But,
Give us the one thing that.
yeah, nobody else really. I mean, like, there were probably a bunch of, like nobles from Kize that didn't agree with Lycus, that he was just, like, to painting with you. But that was probably it.
Okay.
Other people that like, probably stood in his way in some way, but we might not know
Well,
who they are.
it was different, because if, like, Lycus had use for them, he saved them in a painting. If he didn't, he killed them.
What if he just actually had to paint them into the painting? So,
was
you know, like 8 hours later.
Yeah.
Bales,
a lot of
or,
time.
you know, what's his face?
Orcus.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Orcus, stay right there. Don't move.
Don't move.
Stop. You cannot
Gotta get all your
smile.
curves.
We're kind of running out of questions here, so I
No
think
worries.
maybe we could do a wrap at like 9:30.
Sounds good.
It's 9:13 right now, so there's a question. Where is it? It was oh, here it is. Were there any character build decisions that you that the players would have changed, as in subclass, multiclass, etc.?
Oh, that's interesting.
No?
I would have been interested in seeing how Laszlo being an Echo Knight would have played out in the long run, because I feel like, I remember when I made the choice, I was like, choosing to become a champion isn't too much of a drawback, because it's like, I basically lose an extra attack and gain an incremental increase in my crit window.
That crit bonus was enormous, dude. I just want to say. Like,
Oh, well, with the Vorpal Sword, like, bye-bye, you know?
Yeah.
The crunchy crits.
wild how good that was.
Yeah, but it was funny because it's like, without a smite, Laszlo's Vorpal Sword isn't super impressive, but then when he crits, that's when it's nuts.
Crazy.
But no, I remember I originally made Laszlo a paladin when we did our like Evenfall reunion session back in like 2018, I think, before I went off to college, and
that actually set up the Evenfall
yeah, that
story.
set up the whole idea
It
of
was
of the Star Elves.
It was
and-
it was an off-screen thing, so you guys never saw it. But we did have like
Never.
in Immortals come back like what 15
Reunion.
years later,
Yeah.
and
Elden
we're
gets
dealing
fucking
with
blown
this,
up.
Elden
so-
got blown up, yeah.
Yeah.
That game was just establishing that Lycus was assembling pieces of.
Yeah.
That was it.
And yeah, so I made him a paladin for that game because he was originally just a champion fighter, and then for this game I was like, I want to be crazy, so Echo
Yeah.
Knight. But yeah,
You guys happy with how you played out your characters?
Generally, I think. Well, I always chose my subclasses and things based off the character. It's all for me. It's always roleplay based.
Yeah,
not
yeah, of course.
or flavor, at least for the roleplay.
I was kind of weirded out by you being a rogue, but man, Phantom was so fitting.
No, it was super
Once
cool,
when you were
too.
like a Phantom, I was like, fuck, that's so good. It was so fitting. The soul trinkets were really cool too.
I always thought of Lilia. If she had not died, she would have grown up to be more like a martial fighter of some sort. So going to something that was more of a martial class would be the intention.
It sounds like, I mean, is everyone like pretty pleased with how
Yeah.
their characters turn out? Well, in that case, Shirk and Sean wants to know if your characters would have been a different class or multi-classed, what would they have been?
Ooh. I think Phelan would have been a good ranger.
Drake Warden.
Probably not ranger. Like the aesthetic, yeah, and how his build is, ranger would be hard to jive with.
Yeah, sure,
that character.
sure.
I think honestly either rogue or just plain fighter.
I was thinking
because
rogue too.
his, I mean, the basis of that character too is just being somebody who's been thrust into greatness, and so having a very non-magical way of being that way as a fighter or a rogue, whereas like blood hunter, yeah, you had to take a fucking
I am
concoction,
only, yeah.
you know,
I am only
but yeah.
looking at the hunter aspect of it.
yeah, but that's small.
After coming back to life, possibly a fighter as well.
Lilia was originally a grave cleric.
Grave or death? I always forget. They're very similar.
I think it was
It was
I think
death cleric.
I think
Sorry,
death.
it was death. I get them
but
confused.
Her original class was cleric, and so that's what she would have been. She was a different class.
I don't think I would have changed them at all.
But if you would,
If you had to.
if
If I had to,
yeah, if you had to,
Yeah, you
if
had
to-
Jacob
you have to
was
choose
like,
off the
sorry,
one right now."
Paladin Barbarian is too OP, you got to change.
I don't know, maybe cleric for Philip.
Could have been like a
War cleric.
Yeah.
or nor
Nor.
nor
Or Nor.
oh, nor.
Tempest cleric.
We've been watching a lot of Bluey.
Oh, Nor Bluey.
Tempest cleric, like his
Oh,
mom
Tempest
Tempest. That's what I was going
cleric.
to say. Tempest cleric.
Like Kurt.
Yes.
and his mom.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
I don't know. Lamarcia would have been a pretty cool rogue.
She
Yeah.
was a rogue in Stormlands.
That's
Oh,
right.
there you go.
It was original.
She was a rogue warlock.
Stitch probably would have been a wizard.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Cardos, either a paladin or a warlock, if not
Yeah.
paladin. And I think Core would have been a battle master fighter.
Yeah, that's cool.
If-
That's cool.
Samurai fighter?
Yeah, battle
Or
master.
Eldritch
Not Battle
Knight.
Master.
No, battle master.
Battle
Because
master.
the whole shtick about blade singing is about like having that
Maneuverability.
finesse and
Cool.
maneuverability.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Battle Master is
using
like
it
my
in a
favorite
unique-
fighter
yeah.
subclass.
I think Kurt
It's-
has been through all of the classes that they would have
Yeah.
been.
Caster
So.
class.
Maybe she would have like a cross class into sorcerer or something for the spells. But
I like that.
But I think if I'm reduced to just one class, it would be battle master.
I think it's really funny that Stibbles was a druid and nobody else even came close to ever being a druid.
We saw what could be and went.
Yeah,
nah.
It is,
the bar was already there.
Yeah.
We're like, we're good.
Druid is actually my least favorite class to play.
It's pretty fun.
I've already played
I
Druid.
Agree.
I dig it combined with Life Cleric. It's pretty good. But
think-
I'm more prepared with a backup character in Avenue than I ever was in Evenfall.
The only reason druid is just not my favorite, and I don't want to get launched into this, but it's just because I wish that wild shaping was a subclass and not something that all druids
druids
can
could
do.
do.
Sure.
Because I have an idea for like a nature cleric, which you can play, but that's just what a druid is to me, and that's what I'd like to
well,
play
the Nature
instead.
Cleric's class sucks anyways.
I
Yeah.
have to say,
Yeah.
playing the Wildfire Druid for Tyler's little mini campaign was a lot of fun
Wildfire Druid's
because
cool.
it was that character especially purposely trying to be as few wild shapes as possible, and when it was like she's a ferret
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
And it
that's
was
fun.
Yeah,
That's fun.
hell.
Hell.
No, first character.
Ugh,
Your character.
that game was
Fenris.
fun. That was a fun little.
Oh,
Fenris.
Fenris? Yeah,
Yeah.
Fenris is
I
a
could
gem.
not remember. Is she still just in Leonia, just hanging out?
Oh my god.
cat.
It's a cat.
Let this world be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laszlo would have been a College of Swords bard.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes
College of
sense.
Swords is awesome.
Yeah. College of Swords with Battlemaster, all the flexibility. Crazy.
I've done that before. That was what
I think
Merit
Jacob
was.
did it too with Jace and Craig's game.
Yeah, in Craig's game, I played College of Swords with a Battlemaster fighter, and it is extremely complicated. It is very
so
fun.
fun.
It is very, very, very fun. But yeah, Fard is super fun.
Question.
My favorite combos.
Zavos asks, how would a Through the Mirror episode where everything in core is reversed or has a sinister spin play out?
Oh.
Lycus would be a good guy, I guess, and
We're the bad guys.
we're the bad guys. Like the
Yeah.
mirror reverse episode of Star Trek.
Oh yeah, so I guess it's just like Lycus is ascending for like a good reason. Like
Not selfishly.
He is trying to ascend to like say like
The sun's dying out or something.
yeah, he's gonna save the world. Yeah, maybe the sun is dying out or
The sun's
oh,
evil.
that's what it is. Okay, so when the Raven Queen
Sun's evil.
becomes the Raven Queen, she does it to become the Raven Queen, to become very powerful. Lycus and his group of adventurers try to stop it, but instead get sent to the other sides of the plains. And what it does is it fucks up the power of the sun, and the sun is going out. So he is he's going to sacrifice himself and ascend to godhood in order to save the sun. And you guys
We're trying to stop him!
to stop him.
We're all drow. We don't like the sun.
No, wait. Keep that up there. Yeah. I don't know.
Sure, that's
That'd
fine.
be neat.
I have nothing.
Yeah.
What do your characters? What do your characters look like in that
Evil
scenario?
Laszlo?
Philip and Lamarcy probably just both make deals with Grots.
Yeah.
Fuck the sun.
Yeah.
Would Lamarcy be the one that doesn't take the deal?
That's true,
We talked
technically.
about that.
If we're doing a mirrorverse.
Of an alternate universe where they're swapped and Philip takes a deal and Lamarcy doesn't. But-
Philip probably aligns with Grotz. Lamarcia tries to stop him, and maybe Philip like that's why they still hate each other. But like that's why he's separated from the rest of the party. I almost imagine somebody gets the party together in a way to like force them into doing this.
Yeah.
Because you guys are kind of neutral. Like at least the three of you are pretty neutral.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you guys were overall like if the mirror version of Phelan is like a monster hunter who is entirely self-centered, where he takes advantage of the people who need help, and for his own gain, sees the sun staying out as a way where monsters become less prevalent. And so if he wants more coin, if he wants to have a purpose in this world, the monsters have to stay, so the sun needs to go out.
Oh, damn.
It'd be very much of like he's causing some of that monstrosity himself.
Yeah.
Either by finding a way to create more, or he's a werewolf himself, faking a lot of that.
The Raven Queen just takes hold of Lilia and says, "Kill this dude. He fucked with me, and I'll give you all the power in the world if you make what I wanted to happen."
Yeah.
For Core, I feel like maybe in the twist of events, she actually did kill her master after he
Sith core!
after
that's
he talked
awesome.
about Liver Stella, and now she
Cool.
wants the sword
Yeah.
That makes sense.
so that she can be the blade singer.
I wonder
That's
what like
cool.
the evil version of the Keeper would be, because the whole point of the Keeper is to like protect the world from like extraplanar threats and stuff, or like big
I think
world-shattering
that I think
threats.
that the Keeper would see the sun being gone forever as like Doctor Strange, like this is the only way the world continues. You and if you guys
Oh,
care,
damn.
and or maybe it's like it's something like like that.
Or
where
it
it's
could
like
be
the only way.
Ashkari's like puppeteering things.
Yeah, like she's like the.
Oh, if it's Dark Ashkari, then she
Dark
lies.
Ashkari.
She tells you guys the only way the world will survive is if you guys
She's the one
stop
bringing them
Lycus.
together.
and
But and she's the one
Laszlo's
that
like
brings them together.
Laszlo's like Ashkari's minion, not her husband.
It's in a.
In
Just takes
reality-
advantage of her love for
in
his
reality-
love for her.
Ashkari is lying. It's not true, but it is the only universe where Laszlo lives.
Oh,
So she does it just for the sake of him.
Oh, that's compelling. Someone write that. That's crazy. Cool.
So Laszlo thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But-
oh man, that's crazy. Someone said.
Kurt's probably just
Someone
Kurt.
said.
Yeah.
Someone said Stibbles is normal in wild shapes instead of summons.
He's just a snake. He becomes
A
one
question.
snake.
No, just Stibbles.
A question is
wild
from
He's a snake that
from.
becomes a gnome.
Yes.
Sorry, Fear of Owl asks.
Fear of Owl.
We're getting kind of close here. I
Sorry,
want to
sorry.
answer. So Fear of Owl asks, were Lycus's soldiers tried for war crimes? Like, what was kind of the...
I don't know, Phelan, were they?
Did they do it for all of that? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there were probably a lot of Lycus loyalists.
Well, fuck them.
There you go. I mean, there are probably some people who are like, no, they gave me orders. I was acting under orders.
It would very much be like figuring out who is what and who isn't.
Sure.
Oh
yeah, there's magic.
magic.
All right, stand on the zone of truth.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably what happened with some of Kize, was he was hunting down a lot of them who were like, dude, I know you.
Yeah, that's a thing that Phelan and Core probably dealt with.
Harrier Rising asks, I tended to create characters based on songs or take inspiration from other games.
Yes!
Any of your
Such a good
characters have some
question!
inspiration like that?
Yes.
I already talked about, you know about Laszlo being a ripoff from Fire Emblem, Albert. But I think if Laszlo were inspired by a song, it would be Unfair by The Amazing Devil.
That's cool.
I have a whole playlist for Lilia.
Soda Spencer.
I know.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of us make playlists. So
Yep.
I guess for those of you who have them, pick one song that you think kind of encapsulates
I
that
want to bring
character
up
the most.
some of mine.
Yeah, go
ever
ahead.
since the inception of this game, if you guys ever played the Middle Earth Shadow of the Middle Earth games, there's the second
Shadow
game
of
is called
War.
Shadow of War, and there's the Fires of War song that they made for that game, and that I've listened to that. That's like my prep song. Like before we would start, I would listen to that song, and it would like kind of get me in the mood because it was very fitting for this game. So I also just really like that song. So it's
a good
very good. And then towards the end of the game, I messaged you guys this, and we listened to it in our kitchen, and we're sad. But there's this song called In Our Bedroom After the War.
Oh, God.
And it
fucked me
fits
up.
the very end of this game very, very well. And it was on your Elden playlist. And when we listened to that song in the car one time on a drive, and when I was listening to it, I was I was driving, and we were at a part in the game where like I didn't know what to do with like Kurt, and I was listening to that, and it was on the Elden playlist, and it was playing, and and in my head I was just coming up with like some ideas, and the song sort of that inspired the idea of Elden having that thing with Kurt where she shows him like the beauty of the ocean, which is weird because they're not really correlated. That song just doesn't fit with that, but I was listening to that song when I came up with that, and I was like, this will be fun, and then Jordan really ran with it, and I had a lot of fun with it.
It's
So
it's a good song.
I mentioned Phelan is inspired by Dragon Age Grey Wardens, and a little bit of The Witcher, because that's Blood Hunters.
The Grey
so
Wardens, man. So cool.
They're so cool.
They're so great.
There's going to be a fourth Dragon Age, and I know nothing about it.
they still won't show us any game
I'm
footage.
okay with it.
Bastards.
The song for that would be Champion by Fall Out Boys.
oh, cool.
Nice. Tyler, take it away.
I have quite a few like instrumental ones, but in terms of actual like lyrical songs, it would be the main one would be "Help Me Faith" from
Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5. And this other one I would say is "My Dark Disquiet" from Poets of the Fall.
Oh, cool.
Colton?
I think if there's one song I can think of for core, it's not. I don't typically do playlists for my characters, but I'm just thinking about the songs that I know. And Nier Automata has one called "Weight of the World" that plays at the end of the game, and I think that fits very, very well.
That's
with
cool.
core.
Very nice.
This is not Cardos. What was that? What was that? Mumford.
Oh.
We talked about Cardos. It kind of fitting.
How does it go? I might know it. I used to listen to a lot of
I know
Mumford
this.
&
Well,
Sons.
there's a Mumford and Sons song that Spencer and I listened to a ton, which was Dust Bowl Dance.
Oh, Dust Bowl Dance.
Which
yeah.
really,
Damon.
really fits. Yeah. If it's just
It fits
it's
a
for a
lot
lot
of
of characters.
songwriting.
But there is a song.
There's also the Boxer. The Boxer is.
There is a Mumford and Sons song
the
that fits
Boxer,
Cardos really well. I can't remember what it was.
Was it the Boxer?
No,
No,
maybe.
it wouldn't have been the Boxer.
I'm trying to think. Is it? No, it's not Unfinished Business. I love that song though.
It's very
We'll
good.
figure it out.
It's what?
Maybe.
I said it's very good.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
an interesting choice for Cardos, talking his entire story would be "Hurt,"
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
the Johnny Cash version.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What other version?
There's
The Nine Inch Nails
Nine Inch
version.
Nails,
original
the
one.
original
The
version.
original one.
Where,
Yeah.
y'all? That's why I
Actually.
God.
Sorry, guys.
I don't.
No.
I don't
We'll
have
figure
any,
out
I don't,
that
I don't have
Mumford &
anything
Sons
in
song,
stage.
You know, with that, there is just one final
Spencer.
question to ask. What?
Spencer didn't answer.
Oh, Spencer, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Go ahead.
For Philip, it's "I Love You, But I Need Another Year" by Liza Ann.
I know every
Out
word of
Like
that
a
song.
Light by the Honey Sticks. For Kia, it's "Don't Know How" by Ricky Montgomery, or "On the Coast" from the Hades soundtrack. And
Oh, the On the Coast song.
yeah, and then for La Marcia, it's "Brutus" by the Buttress, or "A Way to Stop" by the Wild Reeds.
Wow.
Stop. Out of all the songs that we said, go listen to Brutus. Go list. That song is so good.
It's
All of you are.
very
I'm going to
Brutus
send it to you.
by
The Buttress.
The Buttress.
Yeah. That song is weird and awesome.
Yeah,
It
the
is
Buttress
so
is
good.
just a very good band.
I'll take a listen.
Everything that they have.
Spencer has great taste in
I
music.
love.
Thank you.
I like in the middle of that
They
song.
exposed me to
when
the
she
Wild
goes,
Reeds, and I'm like,
The Wild
great.
Reeds.
They're great.
They're so
They're
good
so
live
good.
too.
Oh, I bet.
I like in the middle of that song when she says, "And they'll call me Rex."
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. It's really good. Yeah.
That's what the dinosaur from Toy Story says, I think.
Yeah.
So last question before we say goodbye to Evenfall and the world of Core forever. Well, sort of forever.
Stop.
Sorry.
Pretty much.
Please stop.
Hey, I'm not
Stop
doing anything.
perpetuating it.
I'm not
After-
doing anything.
Cut it
the
off
man
after
rap.
Strixhaven.
The question is from Azarian105, who
place
says, how does it feel to bookend this world that we have all kind of lived in for the last few years?
good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would say it's sad, but it's not.
It's bittersweet a bit.
It is a little bit like. I guess I would just have a different perspective
Jacob's
on
done.
it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, James was like,
I'm
done.
really, really done with this world, and I'm just, but also, like, it's not even that it's, like, sad to me that we'll never come back to it, because we did so much with it that, like, I also, you know, it's sort of this, I don't look at it as my world, like, sure, I DM'd it, but, like, you guys created, like, 60% of it. So, I don't know, I really liked all the stories we told in it. I'm not, like, unhappy with anything that we did with it. I love how it ended. I love everything we did with it. And I'm just, it's like, it's so perfect to just kind of leave it and just be like, okay,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
done.
We left it on a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was great. We got kind of the best ending we could out of it.
Like, I'd love to say, like, I'm super sad and all that stuff, but, like, Grace is right. Like, I've kind of run out of ideas on what
Well,
to
but
do
there's
with
also
this
so
world.
much to look forward to now.
Of
We're kind of
course.
opening ourselves up to new worlds
Exactly,
now, so.
and I love, like, I'm just happy that we all got to share in this.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's been a
really,
lot of fun.
I'm so, I guess I should say, I'm grateful that we got to get to a point in this world where we could end it, and it didn't just get forgotten about at some point along the
No, I
road.
agree.
And I appreciate you all for that.
Yeah.
But like
appreciate
other
you
people
coming.
are gonna be able to DM, and I've been playing with Craig for a while now, and like I'm stoked.
He's a great...
He's
Yeah.
such a
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal DM. It's
Yep.
gonna be really fun for like people on stream to see that
Yes.
and really
Super
get
excited.
to see.
Jack too.
Yeah,
Jack
everybody.
too.
It's like
Yeah.
everybody has such a different flair for DMing, and it's gonna be very fascinating to see how everybody what shine they take.
I think what's super exciting is that the people who are upcoming
I could.
DMs
I could.
could be Spencer.
Everyone,
And you two
everyone.
Well, but it's like what's going to happen is everyone is going to be DMing something that they really love, you know, like because
Fascinating.
Craig loves Spelljammer. We all know how much I love Eberron. You know, Core was your labor of love forever. You know, trying to make this world for all of us to play in, and you know, Avnia. Oh my God, so much. You know, it's your brainchild. Love it.
Yeah.
It'll just be really fun to see everyone, you know, in their element in that regard.
And that's why I'm sort of happy that this
And then
is
you got
ending.
Strixhaven as well too. You
Yeah.
love Strixhaven.
I'm so
So-
excited for that. Like,
me
I'm just really, really, like, I wanted to really badly run Strixhaven. When they announced that there was going to be a book for it, I was like, I got so excited.
I hate that
so,
sound.
Yeah, I was just really, so I'm super excited for that. And that's the thing with this game, is just, like, ever since we started it, I was like, this is like the last hurrah. Like, and I've always seen it as like that, you know, where it's not, like, I was passionate about it, and I loved it, and I loved all the characters and everything like that, but it's always sort of been like okay, this is the end, you know, and I'm happy we're here.
Yeah. Well, with that, everybody, it's time to officially close the book on this chapter of Arcane Arcade. Thank you all so much for joining us, not only for this Q&A, but oh, there we go. Thank you all so much, not only for joining us for this Q&A, but also for this whole entire adventure, this whole Sunderverse, as it were, this Immortals verse, the Immortals cinematic universe. It's it's been an epic saga, and it's a little bittersweet to leave it behind, but there's so much more to come.
Yep.
So thank you all for your support as ever, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for Icewind Dale.
Final game.
Final game of Icewind Dale, and then next Saturday for the inaugural session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
So excited.
Do we have
So
anything
excited.
next Friday?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A
What?
secret.
You'll find out.
Secret's
A
for
secret
you.
on Friday.
And a secret on Friday.
We're streaming on Friday. You'll find out what it is.
It's a secret, though. Anyways, until next time, take care. We love you guys so
Love
much.
you so much.
And,
Thank you all so much for everything. You guys
Is
are the
it
best.
Saturday yet?
Is it Saturday
Is it
yet?
Saturday yet?
No.
only 9:30.
You know our tagline at the end of our.
Oh, yeah, that's the end of the stream.
See you guys.